Yo, 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 people. We are back in the studio. So you know what that means, people. It's time to break down some football. This is the Gooner TV tactical reaction show. We just want to break down the game from my point of view, my perspective, see what we could have done better, what we did terribly. And yeah, where do we go from here? So I have a question in the comment section. Before we get to that, let me just let you guys know this is a YouTube show on a YouTube platform. So what you can do for me to help me out is as soon as you get here, smash that like button wherever it's located. If it's on your TV screen, just move the cursor on the screen till you get to the thumbs up. Click that button, like it. If it's on your phone, you don't know, tap the screen where the like button is. That is the best way to support the channel, people. Of course, you can also share it as well. I might not know the same people as you, so please share it around to people you know, like-minded individuals that love football. I think if they love football, they will not be upset if you send them, share this link with them, because they will enjoy how we break down the football, I am sure. All right, people. And of course, if you're brand new to the channel, never seen this face before, never been to this channel, this is Gooner TV, where we break down football the proper way. We, as you see, Jamaicans, so we follow Reggae Boyz, Reggae Girls youth teams. Also, you see the name Jason Gooner, so you don't know Arsenal fans as well. I will cover football worldwide, people. So tonight though, the focus is on a very difficult topic for me personally. We're going to discuss in detail the 1-0 defeat to Guatemala, which we suffered last night in Carson, California. I think it's the first time ever Guatemala beats us in the Gold Cup. So that is a big notch for them. And of course, it had to happen last night on the back of a 3-0 victory against the same team in the National Stadium in World Cup qualifiers. So, people did ask the question, are they playing possum? We saw the tactical preview for that game, and I had a completely different starting lineup than what the coach came with. And surprisingly, this game that we played last night, the preview show I did for the World Cup game, is pretty much the team we saw last night. But I think that the coach of Guatemala deserves tremendous credit. You can tell that he studied what worked against them in the national stadium, and he put some mechanisms in place in his team to prevent us from having success, especially if we were going to try to go about getting success the same way, which, sad for us, it seemed like the coach did. So we're going to break all of that down, show you how I saw the game. And of course, we're going to be very interactive on this show tonight, people, because we always, after the post-match and after watching the game, we will give our assessment on the team, and we will give each player some player rating. So we're going to do that tonight, people. I mean, know my style. I will give a rating from myself, I should say. And then you guys, I will average out what you guys say in the comment section. And then when that is finished, we will look at the actual sofa score and see, how close we are to their reality, right? That's the way we did it the last few times, and I like how that went. So we're going to do that again tonight, people. I won't get into the player ratings until, obviously some more people have joined onto the stream. What I'll probably do is start out with just bringing up the tactical part and showing you guys some things that I noticed in the game that caused us a lot of trouble. While I'm doing that, we can get into the coaching assessment as well, because a lot of the tactical things I'm going to show you, I think, were a result of, our plan that we took into the game, and also our inability to adjust to what Guatemala was doing to us. So yeah, this is going to be a very educational show, I should say, to those who want to look at it from a different perspective and really break the game down. I've been able to watch the game again. I've watched the highlights about 10 times now. So I pretty much have a good handle on what I want to talk about and some things I want to highlight. And of course, as we go through, we will obviously start that player ratings, where I need you all in the comment section to get involved, because we can have a better assessment of the players if more of you participate, and it's a true average and reflection of how the fans saw the game, right? So I think that this should be a great show. Not really the best and easiest topic to talk about when Jamaica loses, but we're going to get through this, people, and I promise to just give you my truth and only my truth in this video. All right, people. So let me big up the people I'm tuning in. Big up to BM in the building. Say, yo, 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 yo. You don't know that is my thing. Yes, sir. Only Jamaica national team carry more goalkeepers than midfielders to a football tournament. Brandon Byfield, it has to be studied, as a big YouTuber does say. Rob Smith, up, 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 up. Big up, big up, big up. Reality check. Yeah, I know football. I think there was a heavy dose of reality. Now I have a poll in the comment section as well. And that poll has some choices. And basically, I just want to gauge how people are feeling in terms of what happened last night. So I have 4 options. I have still won't qualify, still will qualify, still not sure, and yes before, but not anymore. So I want to see if anybody has been swayed in any way as far as the result we saw last night. I feel like some people have pretty much changed their tune after coming out basically in a celebratory mood after seeing the groups. And yeah, others were more even keeled, others were kind of, warning people about the pitfalls of going into these games thinking that you're the superior team, or that we got the luck of the draw, whatever the case is. But yeah, hopefully this game was a wake-up call, and not only for the fan base, but for the coaching staff as well, and the players. Staying level-headed, not getting too high or too low. Well, that's probably the best way to be right now, Rob Smith. I don't think we can definitively learn something from that one performance. One thing Jamaica has shown under McClaren is a propensity to have varying levels of performances. So, I think that's what he's going to have to iron out before we get to this September window for sure. In the short term, I think we can expect a few more up and down things to happen, especially due to some personnel not being there, and also due to the haphazard way which we select our squads, to be honest. And we're going to talk about that as well when we talk about what happened in the game last night. We will not qualify with this coach, says Nitro. So Nitro's mind is made up. Said this coach will not qualify us to the World Cup. All right, Nitro. As a Jamaican fan, I hope you're wrong, but I respect your opinion, my brother. Float management said, bless up, big up yourself, Float. Yeah, man, big up yourself, Float. Man, them hype one day, sad the next day. Yeah, the life of a fan of an inconsistent team, right? Varying levels. He had 2 decent matches. No. So I'm saying it's either decent, average, and poor. He hasn't really had, I can't remember a performance that was just, well, the 3-0 against Guatemala was a very good performance. Like, almost every aspect of that game was good. But you're right. I mean, it's been more bad performances than good ones, put it that way. It hasn't always been a bad result. He's been able to get results, which you have to give him some credit for. But, it's been the same old story with Jamaica, beat most of the teams that you're supposed to beat or draw. And then once we play a team that we're the underdog against, we lose. Goat head, chicken foot, red peas. This more look like hot water. We say all that good stuff out of the damn thing. Not even soup again, just water. The most consistent, inconsistent team. I tell you, man. The only thing consistent is that we're inconsistent. Literally. So true attack, inconsistent, consistent team. That's the perfect way to put it. Perfect way to put it, brother. Yeah, people, so please do smash the like button. We have a like target tonight on the usual 100 likes. So please get us there as quickly as possible. We know that the street's kind of full because it's the night after a game, which is fine. You don't know, want to get the content out there. If it's one thing about the content here, it has playback ability, because it's mainly informational. So there'll be things that you can go back and watch. Sometimes it's a long show, so you can double speed or 1.5 speed and kind of get through the content, but you don't want to go too fast because you want to hear what I'm saying at the same time. All right, so the people that are checking, we love that, we love that, we love that. Brandon Byfield said, Jamaica and Trinidad played the worst game in the tournament so far. Yes, I think you are correct. I'm watching Curacao and El Salvador now. And this game is it's still 0-0, but it's been a decent game. Both teams fighting. I think Curacao been the slightly better team, but they haven't been able to get a goal as yet. It's still 0-0, and El Salvador holding on right now. Seems to be a pro El Salvador crowd, which is to be expected on the West Coast. Most of these Central American teams, a lot of their migrants would end up closer to Cali, so makes sense. Big up Jeremy Lee. Hope all is well, brother. I know El Salvador have a lot of people on the East Coast to like New York, New Jersey side. Bless up Mac City. Hope all is well, my brother. Bless up to DJ Gigs. Bless up TD. Big up. Hope all is well. Rewatching the game, Low was very poor. Don't think any 6 saves us yesterday. The setup of the team was poor. We are outnumbered in the midfield. Yes, that's going to be one of my talking points on the tactical breakdown for sure. That was one thing that was just so noticeable. And what's really making me upset about everything, Rob, is like, any coach worth their salt would see that first 15, 20 minutes and adjust something. And we just failed to adjust. We never adjusted. We just kept on living dangerously with the situations and the numbers situation that we're encountering. And there was a few things tactically that we just didn't change. And I think it could have helped us tremendously. And we did see a slight change in some of those things in the second half. And we actually played better. Now, a part of that was they had something to protect. So they weren't as, I guess, how do I say? They weren't as aggressive as they were in the first half in their attacking. And they kind of had a better balance, a little slightly more weighted towards defending. So I've heard some people today mentioning the possession stats, and boy, we should be happy because we outpossessed them. And I think that was just a byproduct of it. In the second half, they were just comfortable trying to keep us in front of them. Didn't really take much risk on the ball. If we did get any pressure on them, they just went long. And they were okay if they didn't win that first or second ball. They just wanted to make sure that they had a good shape, and they could be ready for what was the obvious plan of attack for Jamaica, and that was to find the wingers, which we did a overall poor job of doing in any dangerous situations. Yes, they touched the ball, but it was usually by the halfway line, and we're going to talk about that in the tactical part of the show as well. Our tactical midfielders are 200 yards apart. Yeah, and the defenders too. Low need to go do decking, says Brandon Byfield. Send Ice to the next Guatemala game, please. LOL. Jano Star, that rough. Ice work. Forget Jamaicans too, so I don't know if you want to call on Ice Pump people. Coco Juice fans will have somewhere else to go and not be on the stream where people want to learn. Yeah. I think the call-in segments and the this man good and that man good. I guess it's entertaining, so it is what it is. But yeah, I'm just gonna break down the football tonight. Hopefully that is enough entertainment for everyone. I like learning about football, so for me it would be, but I'm not, I can't really say that everybody is like me, so that's fine. I'm here watching Curacao, and every team can put the ball on the ground and pass the ball, something we struggled to do for years now. Well, look, Stefan Wright, we did it a lot better last week. Part of that was Guatemala wasn't really trying to press us. And that's another talking point in the tactical show tonight, is I don't think Jamaica really did their homework when it comes to the full strength Guatemala team, because as far as a pressing unit goes, they are one of the best in CONCACAF when you really break down the numbers. Curacao playing well, but they ain't converting their chances. Yeah, I see that in a lot of these teams, man. Curacao, Haiti, Suriname. Even though Suriname did score 3 goals, it was pretty good the last time. They still could have had even more than 3. So, they are a bit wasteful in front of goal. That's what I will say. I think they'll keep you in games with their wastefulness. I sent a video on Insta. The coach failed us. Yeah, man, I saw the video. TD. I saw the video, man. It was a madness. McClaren looked clueless. Reminds me of Amory Manu. The result yesterday wasn't a good omen. Last time Jamaica lost the opening game at the Gold Cup was in 2009. That tournament, Jamaica lost all 3 group games and got eliminated in the group stage. Damn, hopefully that don't reach us this time. Ravel should have been in the squad. Why have people on the bench who can't come in to change a game? Yeah, we were surprised when you look at that 60-man preliminary roster, brother. It just don't really make any sense. Some of the decisions that were made, I remember I got a lot of pushback from people when I was saying that. I basically was saying that when we're picking this Gold Cup squad, what we need to be doing is making sure that we're filling it out in the form of a depth chart, right? So instead of just saying let's just put 60 players on a paper, we'll say okay, there are 11 positions on the pitch. We have 60 players, right? Let's try to go 5 deep in each position. The 5 best players we deem in each position. And that's 55 right there. And then on the last 5, you look at areas of concern in your team. Maybe you don't love the quality of a certain position, so you throw a few more names in there so you can see how the form is. And any position that it's close and there's a lot of candidates for it, or a problem area. So maybe you throw a few more CDMs in that last 5, just because you're not really totally happy with that area. Instead, I was told that the coach picks about 30 to 35 of the 60. And then the rest of it is just filled in. So that just goes to show how serious we're taking these things, because, and then we do the same with our 23. Now the numbers are skewed differently. Maybe the coach picks more than just throwing a number out there. Let's say he picks 18 of them, right? There's probably 5 that are just put in for reasons other than football, right? And that whole reasons other than football thing is going to be the death of our program. If you're making decisions based on anything other than football and statistics and analytics and data regarding football, I believe that's where you run into problems, because we hear these I guess you'll call them trigger words, right? And McClaren has said it a few times now. The Caribbean style, right? The CONCACAF style. I've heard McClaren say words that I've heard from a lot of Jamaicans living in Jamaica when they talk about effort and passion and these things that aren't so easily quantifiable. Anytime somebody wants to get one over on you, and it's an argument between you and them for something, like you're saying this is better, that is better. Anytime somebody goes to using metrics that aren't quantifiable, you know that they think they're going to lose the argument if they keep it to actual metrics that we can quantify. So when you hear people mentioning heart and passion and these things, just know that they don't have a footballing argument as to why a player should play over another player. And we need to get away from those conversations. I'm telling you, people, it needs to be less about that and more about actual what they do on the field, with the football, with space, with their teammates. That should be the rule that is guiding all these selections, and no other things. How was your ball of Cephas performance to you last night? I'll go after Cephas. BM, I can see that repeating this time around. Jeez and peace. Tell Gray to come back and collect the ball, or Russell to just sit just a second longer to have body away and try combo with Bailey. Where Bailey collect the ball is where Russell should have been. Okay. BM, I expect the same here. We have no midfield, and the 2 players called up are nothing more than cones. Jaja. We need to put the focus on the coaching staff around the coach. DJ Exquisite, as poor as everyone else in the field. How are we going to make it out of group? Guatemala will take Guadeloupe and score at least 6, and Jamaica don't score a lot of goals. We're not making out. Doubt we are even beating Panama. Well, I don't think we'd have to beat Panama to get through, but I don't think do we have a 3, 4, 5 nil in us? Can we do that to Guadeloupe? I don't think so. Depends which Jamaica turn up. If them look anything like the Unity Cup and the game against Guatemala the other day, then yes. But one part of that Unity Cup team ain't gonna be there, and he seems to be quite an important part, because the performances seem to be way better when he's on the field. Some big ballers were in that 09 team as well. Goes to show names on paper don't play football. Facts. I would rather take off low at halftime than King. That's the thing, Jason. Context matters. When teams sit back and defer possession, we look like we can pass. Same thing when we play Cuba. It's a farce. When teams press us, we can't handle press. That's true. If I'm going to play Jamaica, first 15, 20 minutes, I'm all out pressing them. And I'm taking risk in doing so as well. Why did they select players in the 60 who have no documents to play for Jamaica? Louis Baker, for example. Well, Nitro, those players with the no papers thing, brother, this whole no papers and have papers thing, brother, it's getting to the point now where, as a fan, I don't even care what anybody say until me see the man them get picked and play. Because even when man play, them tell me say them not have passport after them play. So, brother, I don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore. We had someone who anchored the middle of the park in the home game. Well, actually, I do know what to believe. And I know who not to believe. But that's okay. That expose will come at another date. I made a vow that during this Gold Cup, I'm going to keep it all football with Jamaica. I ain't talking about none of them things until afterwards. But, brother, the amount of things we have to talk about off the field things, jeez and peace. We had someone who anchored the middle of the park in the home game, regardless of how they pressed. I think if Lowe stayed in the middle of the field, would have had a better game. Ravel played a lot of games for Jamaica where he didn't change the game. I can't really think of one where he did. I think the Suriname game in Jamaica, the Mexico game in Jamaica, I think he was the most influential player in both of those games on the field. Trying to think if there were any other ones that I'm not remembering. I'll have to think about it some more. Blessings, Duke. Happy Earth Strong, bro. Yeah, man, bless up Duke for him Earth Strong. BM, well, Karai and Sule on the way. Let's see who gets the start. Hopefully, we can stop the rut versus Guadeloupe. Swamptivity. You say him nervous and him a laugh. Jaja. Yo, we need some of them gator there out of the swamp, man. To bite up some other team. We have better players that are available in the pool that we have now at Gold Cup. That's a fact. McClaren is a joke. This man cannot get a head coaching job anywhere at close to 70. Speed was stupid enough to hire him. Well, maybe it was a genius ploy, because based on how he sounds, I don't think he is fully like on top of all the things, right? And if you're going to be doing things that don't make sense logically, football-wise, I think it'd be easier to get those things past a coach that might be, let's just say a bit more laid back at this stage of his career. So maybe it was a genius move because he has the cachet of being, around big things. Man United, coached England at one point. Yes, it was 20 million years ago, but yeah, he has that cachet. So I think they would have known that and said, okay, well, I don't think they'll question it so much because he has a name, But boy, we have to question some of what he's been doing. We need to stop force high-level players to play with low-level players. It won't work. Brown Beer, I hear you. LOL, for a minute I thought it was press I was listening to. No, sir. I don't think I can ever reach to that level of how can I put it now? Presser just has his own way to talk about these things. I don't think I reach those levels. Presser is in a league of his own when it comes down to stuff like that. I'm a bit surprised Bobby Reid made this list and not even on the bench. Put out Bobby and make space for other potential players. Yeah, it's a bit strange. Some of the players, it seems like he has time to put them in as getting them fit. And then he kind of puts himself in a tough spot because he has mentioned not putting other players in the team because they ain't fit. And then certain players he's fine with putting them in the team and letting them gain fitness with the team. So I don't know. Jason, it's still confusing to me why the coach didn't have a backup 6 in the 26-man squad. This is just weird for coach not having a backup for each position. Yeah. I think because he admits to himself that the 6 pool is shallow. So I guess the 6s that would be in the pool are not deemed a good enough level, I guess. I don't know, but you have to just put the players there. You have to put the players there, bro. You have to put the players there. We have young players who could come in. Yes, they're young, but so what? They know the role. Let them learn the role in your system from early, and just the fact that Isaac Hayden, if you look at his club career of late, right, a lot of time out, a lot of injuries, finally gets back playing this season. And then when he moved to Pompey in January, he started, I'd say 90% of the games he was there. But he also came off in 90% of the games around the 65th, 78th minute, 68th minute. And that wasn't because he was playing bad every game. No, they're trying to make sure that he lasted the entire half season. But every time he comes to Jamaica, he plays 90 minutes every time because we don't have anybody to come on in his place. So it was bound to happen. There's no way he was gonna make it through this whole summer. And I asked that. I said, "What is your plan?" He said, "Well, the plan A is to keep him fit." I said, "Ratted." And then when it came to plan B, he said, "Well, we have a lot of versatile players in the squad, and we'll have to figure out a solution." So that's code for Damian Lowe, basically. So, and that's what we got last night. But according to the sofa score, Iman Brown stats was the poorest of the front three, or you don't work with stats. Come on, guys, smash the likes button. Why Bobby Reed is listed and yet not in with the team? He's supposed to be there next game, I think. I'm glad you're pointing that out, Jason. Dixon Hart is bigger than Campbell? Question mark. BC Hart is larger than DJ or Mothersill. Yeah, I think when they sign up for the team, the first thing they do before they kick a ball is run them through the heart scanner. And yeah, them pick the team based on who's bigger. Would you start Karai at the 6 on Friday? No, I wouldn't actually, I know people probably like, what? I'd probably put Lati there before Karai in the first game because he just got there. The coach said he's supposed to get there. I think he said today when he spoke in a press conference meeting yesterday, but I don't know how that would be possible. But I guess it is possible because they would have had to notify him 24 hours before. But here's my thing. When did they actually notify him? Because he wasn't there yesterday. The reason why you rarely see me anywhere is because I come here for ball talk. There's plenty of performance. Take your narrative reason somewhere else. But Jason, I know people are calling for all players to be picked on performance, but the Jamaican public handle that? Serious question. I think this whole Jamaican public thing is blown out of proportion. Like, I feel like there will be enough Jamaican fans that live in Jamaica that won't give a damn who is in the team from who is not in the team, as long as the team is looking good. So this whole thing about, you have to have the players in the team to make the fans come to the game and blah, blah, blah. I don't buy none of that stuff. And the thing is, dude, there's never going to be a time where Jamaicans that grew up in Jamaica ain't on the team. It's never going to happen. We export enough good players to get picked back for the national team. So if you're telling me that people can't handle not having a player playing on the island when we play in Jamaica, then I don't know what to tell them, because I'm not saying that they can't play, because if they're good enough, they will play. Brown got his opportunity, did well, he's in the team. King got his opportunities, did well enough, he's in the team. So, so when King go play for St. Mary now and him come play, does he not count anymore? When you hear people denying the importance of intangibles like passion and desire, they haven't watched enough games or know the sport. Guatemala out passion than out desired us yesterday. But football guru, the funny thing about this comment, in the game that we played before in Jamaica, the team of Guatemala was not as good, like just overall. They didn't play their best players. And we out passioned them in the game. You could see which team had more intensity. So they put on their better players and they played with more passion. So this whole thing about the only time a player can have passion is if he is technically inferior to the other people is a load of bollocks. It's a load of bollocks. Why can't a player that's good technically show passion as well? Those things can happen. You don't have to just be not as good as someone to show passion and energy and desire. It's not true. It's not true. And energy and desire and passion in a player does not have an address. There are some players that just play with a certain attitude and the feel, and there's others that don't. And it doesn't matter if them born in Jamaica or them born in England or them born in China. I don't think he has any other option. King and Pinnock as CB, Lati as the right back, and Carrera Sule as the CDM. Low is injured, he used up all of his hearts. If I'm picking based on performance, Graham Bailey will not be in my squad, much less team. Well, there you go. We're not going to surprise no teams. Bless up Lulu. Hope all is well. I'd rather have Ravel than McCullough. Yeah, he's not in the 60s, sadly. Bless up Jairus. Bless up Jairus. Yeah, he lies. It's tough. That's what I think, Jason. They hired this guy to be a puppet and use his resume to get us on board. Well, Presser wasn't believing. Oh gosh. Big thing. So my girl can't have a big thing. You know? Why you always I take it to the Y ends? Birthday boss. Bill, no? That's how you see it, but I could remember I said to you that both of them are very limited, and you said they contribute goals. Now I'm negative. Okay, so DJ Gigs and Rob Smith in the first tit for tat for the evening. LOL. So what you're saying, Jason? McClaren best trait is to be the wrong man at the right places. Anything confusing? Bless up Danny Dread. Yeah, man. But I love to hear your reasoning how you saw the game last night in Danny Dread. Ref Thief was still. Enough Guatemala players should have been carried or even sent off for consistent jersey and holding. Yeah, that ref just never thought, he never read the rule book in 2025, because I thought when you're running away from a player and you pull their jersey to pull them down, it's like literally an automatic, you know? But this man never believed so, brother. I think Amari Bell got pulled on by his shirt like 3 different times. Okay, them I go back and forth now. Player for player. Ask him, DJ Gigs, ask him how surprise me and ask Rob Smith. Now you ask about a local born player. And DJ Gigs, you ask about an overseas born player. When the head I got explode, I'm going to answer each other if you do that. Yeah, man, listen to Max City, my talk truth. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel, yeah, man. I forgot to start give out some wrench, you know, because not for no actually I said the right things in the comment section, you know. So we'll go through one day and sort out them things. Way better than both of them, and he wasn't playing in normal position, even though you won't admit that. Nila Curacao game, yeah, saw the end of the pool is shallow. More players should be getting a look in. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. In that area, we don't even look at the players that could play there. We just don't pick them, and we end up picking more wingers and defenders. It's like, bro, you can only play 2 wingers at a time. You can only play, well, this coach can play 6 defenders at a time, but you only need to play 4. Coach, I work with the feds. You know, I know 6 in. This was the right time to look for backup to Hayden. Yes, Unity Cup was the perfect time. Plan B is to hammer down Plan A. For real, Lulu. It's crazy. Blame coaches. They have heart. Float management, they did well. 61% of the ball, 3 shots on target, 82% pass accuracy. They will keep the ball well. Yeah, man, heart machine, brother. I don't know where to find it. I need it. Big up Goontown. Hope all is well. Canada will win Gold Cup. I wouldn't be surprised. I think Mexico and them, probably the strongest teams. We're measuring hearts now. If they have an enlarged heart, the doc won't clear them to play, bro. Not if we play defense only. Agreed. But we don't have nobody else, bro. And I don't agree with this drop Russell to the 16 either. I hear a lot of people saying we should have just done that, but I don't think that's the answer either, bro. I know Antonio played with a lot of heart. Wait until you see them play before you give them the title. Yeah, they're playing right now, so we'll see in just a minute here. I don't get it, so you tell me, say Jamaica has the potential, but them own federation and mash it up. Or them fair play defenders in the middle of the park. They're just trying to push players in the team. Yeah, it's a mad thing. It's a mad thing. The team needs to have Dixon and King to fill the stadium. Wonder where people hear nonsense like that. Yeah, I think there's a program that love it. I think that's where people care about who is in the team and locals. You play ball, locals will love you. Yeah, Rob Smith, I actually agree with this, you know. I think that the locals will come around. It might not be right away, but if them play well, they will come around, bro. Like, I mean, to this day, Marlon King get enough respect. To this day, obviously, Burton, Paul, all of them get respect. Even Westmorgan and them, even that team that went to the Gold Cup final, Giles Barnes, McAnuff, McCleary, all of them get respect. I mean, not as much as, you know, I think they should get, but they do get their respect, though. Richard King to St. Marion is a good look for him. I agree. I think that's probably right around the level where he should be able to push for a decent amount of minutes. I don't think it will be right away. So people don't freak out if him get there, and it's a slow kind of getting in the team. I'd be surprised if him go there and walk in the team, but if he does, great. If he can do that, excellent. I just think it might take a little time. Gura, one of the heart man them. Thank you, Jason. How do you credit a win to just passion? It's not, bro. It's yes, that matters. But I mean, you can have all the passion in the world. If you don't control the ball, pass the ball, move into space, your passion not going to take you but so far. And if you go study cardiology, yeah, let's go for the passion and desire meter. Want to see the readings? Yeah, I need the machines, bro. I need them. King make that goal. Let's score still. We're going to break down the goal as well. Lowe should have not been in the midfield. He's not a midfielder. If he can't play, CB he should be on the bench. I've been saying on Billy Street, put Lati in the midfield way before it happened. Yeah, you saw my team before the game. I always was leaning towards Lati Bodere in the midfield. And I have been quoted on these platforms as saying I don't want Lati in the midfield again. But when you feed me a team with nobody besides Hayden to play the 6, right? Some would argue Russell has played 6 there. So why not put him there? My argument against that is every time we've ever played Russell deep, the coach doesn't pick him or doesn't play him. And since he's moved further forward, he's a staple. Nobody wants to drop Russell. So why are we going to move him again? It don't make sense. Only locals play with passion. That's basically what they're saying without saying it. Guru, a cardiologist now. What's the heart? Jason, they used to say Chris Gayle had no passion and heart for West Indies. He was too cool. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it has more to do with your personality than where you're born. I mean, come on. Latia, which right back? All your head chip, play Dexter Ombre. I mean, Lati can play right back, bro. And especially if the coach was gonna do what he was doing in the first half and in the game in the stadium, which is make the right back not really push up and support Bailey on the right and just basically tuck into midfield to make an extra midfielder with Hayden or with whoever is there, which is what we tried to do. But because Lowe couldn't stay in his position, it wasn't working. And all that ended up happening was Lati Bodere had so much ground to cover, plus to go and cover the right back, because Lowe was playing that role of covering the space without Lati Bodere there better than King. So it's a lot of dominoes was making it look bad. And I'm going to show you on the screen. You can show energy, desire, passion with low IQ and look like a headless chicken on the field. Bro, that can happen, yes. Lowe shouldn't be on the field too. The red card. Which player who is great and aren't passionate? When the USA was challenging Mexico and CONCACAF and beating them, it was from passion and desire. Mexico had better players. That's arguable, my brother. That's arguable. Because them Dempsey teams with Bradley and Altidore and them, man, those were good teams. And that's when the USA dominance really started. Around 2013, 14, 15, leading up, They kept on winning all the competitions, the Gold Cups, and the Dos a Cero was the chant, But those USA teams were really good too. I mean, they had good players as well. And the Mexicans, so you're saying the Mexicans that were losing those games, they were losing because they had less passion and desire. Mexico, a team that will run for 90, 200 minutes and don't stop. Come on, Guru. That wasn't the best example, I don't think, Dexter should start. T. Campbell should get at least 35 minutes Friday. Martin, we shall see. Marlon Samuels was said to have no passion and heart, but he won 2 T20 World Cup for the West Indies. Big up defense, try hold the line. Them try. Dominated from what I saw, catch most of the second half. Yeah. How cover can't get a look in is crazy. Yeah, I asked when he got into the Unity Cup squad, I said, happy for the kid, but coach, what's the reasoning behind putting a player in this team that you can't pick for the Gold Cup? And man was upset with me for asking that question. He was basically saying like, he basically was putting it down to like players not being available to actually play in the Unity Cup. As far as I know, a lot of the players that are in the World Cup squad, he wanted them to be a part of the Unity Cup squad, and for various reasons, he couldn't get a lot of them. So, it was kind of a scramble to just get players for the Unity Cup after all of that. So yeah, it was a bit of a task for him to get the players. I'm not tit for tat with anyone. Man, them reason with agenda and narrative. If you read what I wrote, I said I would play his stupid game now. I'm done. Yeah, no, I know, bro. Come on, don't get serious, Rob. I was joking, man. I was just making light of you two going back and forth, bro. I'm not taking it that serious. Me and you know, say Dirty Foot Steve McClaren now play Cam. Yo, Campbell warm up from second minute, you know, man. Soup still a cook. Them say everything out of the soup now, just water boil. The 60-man pool is like the Jamaican voters list. It need for purge. The coach change up, but the team again Gooner. Yeah. I think a lot of you Unity Cup fans are upset that the team change up, you know. Dixon and Cephas to the thing. But that would have mean benching Brown. I mean, I think they want to bench Brown. So I don't know. I don't want to scare anyone, but I saw the way where we don't qualify for the World Cup in last night's game. You see it. After Unity Cup coach said picking a team for Gold Cup is going to be hard based on the options he had, and this is the best team he could come up with? Question mark. Good question. If Bailey gets dropped, Jamaicans will lose its mind. But I don't know, I think there's enough people against Bailey at this point, Is McClaren better than Paul Hall as coach? In some aspects, yes. I think he would have been more likely to have a backbone in tough decisions than McClaren, it seems. But I did feel like Paul Hall focused way too heavily on one side of the game. I think he's one of the best we have looked in an attacking sense. But we were so open under Paul Hall, man. When you watch those games back when he was the coach, I mean, Andre Blake needed a raise for some of those games. He wants to focus on Cephas and Warner. I split justice. I just don't like the fact that when the JPL, all right, that one yeah valid. That one yeah valid. I just don't like the fact that when JPL players and players that they don't like play against better teams and show that they're not at the level, the conversation leads to narrative against local. Yeah, I think that's what happens on all sides with Jamaican fans. If a player from overseas play bad and a certain person said them play bad, it's not going to be about how them actually play. It's going to be about that person that like the player. And the same thing happens with people that are deemed as, supporting heritage players more. If a local player play bad, I can't tell the truth about the player because I am deemed to be bashing him. So it's not me being analytical and doing everything else that I always do. It's a bashing thing when I talk about a certain player. That makes sense. Big man, he might play him next match, man, because people are called fatigue Campbell. It's crazy that this player only played 8 minutes. Yeah, the whole time. Big up Mr. Elm, hope all is well, or Mr. ELM, not sure. If you don't play well, you get beatings, and man, them on YouTube getting their feelings about it. Man, them boo Usain Bolt. Who the hell is Hutchinson? South American ref used to those type of tough game, so they are not going to call most of those fouls. Yeah, this I don't think the booing of Hutchinson in the stadium did anything. I don't think that did a damn thing. I think it was the people that evaluate the talent and pick the team. It was how he was spoken to by them that would have turned him off more than anything about fans booing. Trust me, because brother, that dude play in front of fans all the time, and English fans are unforgiving, brother. They make a bad touch, them I get booed. South American ref used to those type of tough game, so they're not going to call most of those fouls. Why it always seem like other teams have 3 more players, brother. Yesterday it was like that. I was like, bro, they have 14. I'm convinced they have 14 players. Lati too slow. I don't even think he's that slow, I mean, when you guys see him just get burned, Lati should be a defender or bench too. Passion is playing wild. JPL players are far from the answer. I don't care who want to say me hate players. We not even know these players out of football. Lati and Russell ever played in midfield before together? Before last night, no. I don't think so. Because the time when Russell would have been around the team. No, I lie. They played in the Gold Cup. Because I'm pretty sure Lati was playing midfield in that game against St. Kitts that he played. Lati not even attack, brother. He must have passed back the ball around the defense line like him afraid to kick the ball upfield. When we see Dexter come on, we see a big difference. Yeah, but Dexter, remember I said Dexter played the role differently too, you know. He might go up and overlap, underlap. He just play more attacking. So that's why I say that's the thing, you know. I don't think, all right, so you guys get upset when a player don't do things that he can't do. So if in other words, Lati Bodier no, him no want to start a track meet on the right hand side. He might go tuck in a midfield, stay close to the back line so that him don't get exposed behind him. And that's why people did have beat Dexter before. Why am I always out of position and run back? Well, you have to take the good with the bad. If you like the going forward and the crossing and all that, just know because Bailey play on the side there, the right side are going to be vulnerable on the backside when the two of them on the field together. I just say it and go. So you can't do everything, people. You have to give up something. And when Latibody play on that right-hand side, the right-hand side is a little more stable from attacks. That's all I'm saying. Did Robbie Earl have passion for Jamaica? Brother, I don't know. But Robbie Earl is a little more personal with me still. So I can't really speak to how he was back then. But now I know say he's a fussy. Is it confirmed Low is out for the next match? Not confirmed, but based on where he was holding that groin area, I'd be shocked if 3 days' time he's ready. Should I stay in my yard? Same thing my father said, and then I asked my father, so you want to erase the first goal we scored and just get 3 love and done. Him say if it wasn't him playing, somebody else would have scored a goal. Say, oh, you don't know that. I want to see the best players playing at the highest levels in the team, not just trying to bust a youth. And when one player out, it looks like a different team. Yeah. I agree with that. I hope me injured till the World Cup over because I hope him injured till the World Cup over because the man can't play ball. Man wild and can't play ball. Jano. Man them said deck in a morning star. I wish speed have passion and heart for the national teams like how we have for Cavs. Bless up namesake, go on. Hope all is well, brother. Stop disrespecting the players. I think Dixon play with more heart than Bailey. Yeah, man, there's the heart thing again. Hall is the man for the job. Must Jason Hall. A joke. You know what a job there? I'm not qualified enough. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, as I said, I think Paul Hall would have had more of a backbone in terms of certain things, but I think coaching wise, he would have need some kind of defensive coach for him staff because I never like when I say defensively under him. JFF and Mr. Speed would never be able to live it down if we don't qualify. It's going to be rough. McClaren is miles better than Paul Hall. That isn't even a real question. Really and truly, who is coaching the team? I see Marion Island most of the game. What happened to the assistant coach that was with the team in St. Vincent? As I said, post Gold Cup, I have a lot to talk about. They will not, because most of these people this in the higher level are dark. I see JFF posting that Jamaica is represented in Club World Cup. Which player are they referring to? Jonathan Bell, Seattle Sounders, more than likely. Bailey and Lowe are bench players now. Overseas players get a short time to prove themselves. Big up Stephen Lloyd, hope all is well. King consistently makes mistakes. Point that out. You're bashing a player. But people can give Palmer hell all when him play good. That helped too, Jason. What Dixon would have done last night? Guatemala team stop our wingers and strikers. So what made Dixon different? We're weaker than Bailey. And of all the players up top, Bailey was the most effective, to be honest. So, I don't know. I mean, Hargrimson spoke to Hutchinson in a respectful way. I can't believe that. I'll leave that one alone. Yeah, man, respect determined. Respect determined. You don't know. Can't get nowhere without work, you know. I always think King and Dexter are better midfielders than defenders. Every coach come and can't find a settled team. There's sometime else. There's something else to this equation than the coaches. I think you're onto something. Tired of the bandwagon criticism. Kiss me teeth. All right, first responder. Jamaica coaches have to answer other people. We still can go through still. Have to win our next 2 games. Yeah, laugh out loud. Dexter was playing a different role. Lati had no options. I keep telling y'all, Russell and Gray was too far away. Lowe and Lati was in there by themselves fighting against 5 midfielders. Jason, question. Who is doing the analytics of the other teams that we play? I think one of them name is Kyle Chin, I think. And I forget the other guy's name. But we have 2 analysts. And they are responsible for, looking at the footage of the other teams and bringing things to the coaches and whatnot. So, yeah. As far as I know, 2 of them. And of course, the other coaches and the coach himself would also watch clips and talk about that as well. Why need to qualify to coach Jamaican? Well, it's a gang talking. May I think too deep into this? Like, I can actually just work there now. Speedo is a good coach. Let's see the football arms house. What is the coach plan come September if Hayden is not playing for his club? Stephen Lyde? Don't know. I was hoping that this summer would figure out that, but it's like the man just want to use Hayden till him drop down. They both need to be fired. Hey, I mean, you might be right still. People give him hell and he played good. They not even know how he played. No, he played good. Yeah, I think people just sometimes, I don't know, they just listen to what the crowd is saying, whichever crowd that them gravitate more towards, which is kind of sad, you should be able to put each thing in perspective and not have to, piggyback on other people's stuff and, All right, so this is what I wanted to show people now, so. All right, so let me pull up the tactical pad and we're going to jump right into my segment on the tactics of the game real quick, and then we'll jump into the player ratings right after that. Bless up the tycoon in the building. Lee Young, boy, that I don't know the full 1,000 about this player, but it's just amazing to me that this man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Do you have a party in the pipeline? If not, we have to work with what we have. Yeah. That's what we tried to do last night, Dr. Dan, and what we have clearly ain't good, or what we tried ain't good enough. So, let's just try something else. That never looked good. I'm telling you now, if we play Lati, Gray, Russell in the same roles Friday, we'll be in trouble if they crowd the midfield again. I heard you said a while ago that a team got a book or something that they give players to study on a Jamaican team. Not sure if you remember. Yeah, man. So that was the under-17 El Salvador when we lost El Salvador in that game to qualify. They had I don't remember the exact amount of pages, but it was like at least 24, 23 pages or something like that. And it had key players, different phases of play, trends when they get into certain actions, how they build out from the goal kick on the left, how they build out from the goal kick on the right, potential movements during corner kicks, first phase of attack, what to look out for, what they do normally, tendencies, trends. Brother, it was so detailed, so well done. Like, so I asked some of the guys on the boys team. I said, so, what kind of packet or what kind of video session did you guys do? Oh, we never do none. We just train, and I mean, we did our preparation for what we're going to do, but as far as what they were going to come against us with, we didn't know nothing. So, it's you fail to prepare to fail. It's that simple. Yeah, man, McClaren run Hayden red for the last set of matches. Even after he picked up a knock in the first match against Guatemala, he kept him in the field. Yeah, everybody in the stadium, I'm sure. I think at the time it was already 3-0. When he goes down, I'm thinking, bro, even if you don't have another 6, just put anybody there. I don't care. Just get him off the field. I'm about to sing "Oh Canada." Jason, do you know why Charlton pays Dixon more than they do Campbell and Small? Why they pay him more? Um, probably because probably because of his agent, I would think. So he was able to negotiate that weekly fee for him. Um, that's the only thing I can think of. Also, Campbell and Small would have been probably coming to their academy, which a lot of times they're probably still on the academy wage. They're probably not even, they haven't even gotten their first like pro compensation yet or fully pro. So that's probably why. But I don't know why. But I'm sure if you're asking, you're going to tell me. So let me know. I was wondering if it was a Guatemala team. No, it was El Salvador. That much work for the Jamaica team. That too much work, exactly. Bro, your question that you asked the coach was so impactful, but I think we all miss it, especially the coach response. Yeah, you're talking about the one when I asked about like, what his contingency plan, right? Yeah, I mean, and the way he answered it was just like, bro, his first response was keep him fit. Like he knows in his brain, I don't have a backup plan if Hayden ain't there. I mean, the coach can let Lati sit and cover the back line. That's how Mikel did for Chelsea. He never used to cross half line, or else Mourinho would scream at him. Yeah, well, look, that's the thing. I guess Damian Lowe tactically is just not able to do that, because if he just did that, I think it could work. Yes, we're gonna lose some in the build-out phase. I get that, but I'm talking about. All right, I just said earlier, you can't take away everything, or you can't do everything. So if you know the man can't build out properly in that role, you would at least expect him to be able to defend properly in that role. But not even that he can do. The detail-oriented type of system is what will take these exactly. No, man, we heart, passion, desire that can beat any preparation. Why the hell they put Bobby Reed in the damn squad knowing he's not ready? The coaching staff have take blame 100%. They did no homework. Marion Garden should be the first to go. Yeah, it's just a little strange, and him kind of mess up himself because of like, saying that certain players never make the team because of lack of sharpness and lack of fitness, and the national team not going to get players sharp. And then last night in the press conference, he says, "But Mikel Antonio, it's our job to get him fit or whatever, or something." He didn't say our job, but he said, he's getting fit, getting minutes, getting fit. And I'm thinking, bro, you just told the people that the national team shouldn't be doing that. So how can you turn around and say this? He just keeps, just saying the opposite things. If him talk long enough, him going to contradict himself. Are we as Negroes genetically disposed to preferring style over substance? And say, as Negroes, Rotted Canada start their B team. Why say it's a B team though? Jonathan David is playing, isn't he? Shanier is not a B team. Tejan Buchanan is playing. Like, what do you mean B team? Why? Because Tani is starting? I don't know if it's a B team, this brother. Oh, Jesse Marsh get too much red card. Football guru, they get paid big this season, Campbell. May I wait for him to answer my question? But why? What kind of person in their right mind would not try to assemble your best team to qualify for a World Cup? Well, one of the sound bites of YouTube history came from Rudolph Speed, when he said that if him can sell one player, that more beneficial than making it to a World Cup. Every man and feel yesterday already boss. If you had a choice, who would be Jamaica's next coach? Any coach with a backbone. Any coach with a backbone. Any coach that would be willing to come here and say, listen, me man, the only stipulation I have has been, if I'm going to be the damn coach, is that don't tell me nothing about how to pick the team, who to train, who to watch, who to scout. Don't talk to me about nothing. Give me the team and we deal with it and leave me alone. So anybody we can do that. And I know that's a very vague answer, but I swear that's all I want. This is the foolishness I hate when we win three love, not a soul mention of garden. Never heard any fan base care about the assistant coach. Meran the only local face. So he said, Robert, just through the man born at Jamaica, even one way I talk about. After Meran go the man, them I go start attack the trainers. Them get attack already, Rob. A man cussed me the other day because me say why the man them look so lethargic and lackadaisical and I warm up them. So me I cuss Lamar Morgan. And the man cuss me, brother, send me message and say Lamar Morgan is what? Him have a higher badge than whole heap of coach in a JPL. And I was like, okay, well, what does that mean? Is everybody afraid of Low? Why, despite any coach we have, is our starting centre back? Or is it that the average fan are clueless and biased to his talent? Low is a weird one in a football goal because there was points when he used to start and the fans wanted him out of the team. And then it seemed like when him stopped play, people didn't want him back in the team. I think this season, I have just based it on what I always base it on, and that's football. When I watch him play in the Saudi League, I see a lot of things better in his game than one time. I think he still has a rash challenge in him that will never go away, it's clear. But he's also gotten a little more experience, so I think as his stature has grown over the years, especially in CONCACAF, I do think that he gets away with a little bit more than he used to because he's been around at this point, so he get a little more respect. Because even last night he could have got a red card. This will be a proper match. Honduras is a worthy opponent. Yeah, Honduras usually play well against good teams. It's the teams that aren't so good Honduras might just not show up against, to be honest. But usually when it's a challenging game for them, they play decent. Bless up at Chile. See McClaren come to Jamaica, come to shopkeeper. Look like JFF take out people backbone, Greg Berhalter from USA is a great coach. I know USA is sorry they made that mistake, go to Argentina and find a young coach. Though he's a good CB, he's just not a midfielder. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, so let me get the tactical part on the screen because time is running away and all we've been doing is chatting. So let me get down to the business of this thing, and that is to break down the tactics, and then we'll do the quick run through of the player ratings. All right, so this is tactically how the game started out, people. Both starting 11s. So we had Blake in goal, King and Pinnock on the back line, Amari Bell, Latibodir, low in midfield with John Russell Gray, Cephas on the left, Bailey on the right, and Warner Brown up to the middle, right? So let me actually make this smaller because I'm telling the truth, people. This, I want the field to look bigger because trust me, that's what they used to kill us yesterday is the width of the damn field. All right, so this right here is how tactically Guatemala set up, or this is what I thought they were going to set up like right here. Hagen in goal, Pinto, Samayoa, Morales at left back, Herrera at right back. Key player for them yesterday, Herrera. Santis, danger man, number 18, had a spell in the first half where he just looked like he was destined to score. Put it in the goal. First, he took a shot. Would have went in if it was in the corner because it was fired at Andre Blake, but he caught it. Then he scored a goal, but it was offside. And then from a similar run, he was actually not offside that time, and he poked it home to make it 1-0. So Santis was definitely a big problem. I'm going to show you what he did so effectively on that back line. Munoz, the other talented left-sided player, left-footed player, he started on the left side. And then this midfield three, I think, made the big difference in this game compared to the first. Robles, Franco, and Ramirez, who was a surprise start. Did not go with Pedro Altan, the veteran, number 10, with all that experience. Decided to go with Lom up front, who did have the experience, over Rubin, who was past fit enough to play, and Ordonez, who had done well in the World Cup qualifying window that just passed. So Guatemala, people, I just want to show you guys tactically what Guatemala did in this game that I think really put the Jamaicans under some serious pressure. So the first thing I want to show you guys is how Guatemala decided to play from a build-out phase. And I'm going to show you why, for me, Jamaica just did not adapt well enough in this game to the tactics that they were using. So the first surprising thing that I saw was Guatemala was willing to basically mirror what Jamaica was doing to them in the first game. And the reason why I said that is not completely, but in a way. So this is the basic posture of what they were doing in the build-out for this. These two players, when they had possession, really and truly just stretched the play, right? They just stretched the play. Now, Jamaica, this is what I had an issue with early in the game. Now, usually in defense, we have a posture similar to this. So Bailey is up the field. Warner Brown is trying to force the play to one side or the other. Cephas is on his wing back. Bailey is there. Now, these two players, what I liked about what they did is typically these Central American teams might do something like this in the build-out where there's a lot of passing options all in this, basically end of the defensive third phase. But what Guatemala did differently, and I didn't really think they would be doing this, is they really and truly had these players pushed up the field. Now, what that did was, let's say when Jamaica, because the problem that I saw early in the game was they kept on cycling this ball between these three players, and Cephas and Bailey were reluctant, or one of them, which tactically what I think they could have done is when they're in this phase of play, you say, okay, Damari, you push on Franco, right? And then you have the numbers. But the problem was we were in this 4-1-4-1 shape where too often Russell and Gray basically were ahead of Ramirez and Robles, right? And what was crazy about what was happening at times, sometimes Cephas would stay with this player, right? Because we didn't want to lose Herrera down here with nobody tracking. And Gray would be the man to push onto Pinto, and Brown would be here. But what that ended up doing, Russell would come to Franco, and Lowe was typically outnumbered in this area of the park. Now, what compounded matters, people, is that let's say Robles realizes that they're going man for man, 5v5. He would typically be the one to drop a little bit into the half space. But what ended up happening when that happens, Damian Lowe didn't have his anchor on his foot to keep him in this vicinity. So he would follow. When that ball goes into here, Damian Lowe would be right here. And what would end up happening typically is Franco would probably vacate this space, which would take Russell away. Robles was quite comfortable putting it back to Hagen. And then the problem then lies in, look at the numbers further forward. So by this point, Ramirez would have pushed all the way up. So typically, it was a 4v4 on the back line. And the problem ends up being one of these two players, typically it would be Robles, would end up in this space as that extra player. And then there would be wide gaps between all of our lines. So that's why I wanted to make the players on the field even smaller today, because I wanted to emphasize how well Guatemala just used 5 players to beat a press, typically of 5 Jamaicans. And at times, Lowe's indiscipline in his positional awareness caused us to have numbers like this, where it's literally 5 against 4. And all of our midfielders are ahead of the play. Now, this is where I have to beat the coach tactically. Because honestly, whenever you have a situation where you're in a 4-1-4-1 shape, right? You have these two players splitting wide, and you have the goalkeeper. So on this first line of build-out, there's 3 players, the goalkeeper and these 2. Now, unless one of Cephas or one of Bailey push up onto one of those center backs, Warner Brown is going to be pressing by himself for no reason over and over and over again. And that's what happened time after time in that first half. And if you remember, one of the things that Warner Brown did exceptionally in the last time we played Guatemala was he was closing down players and winning throws blocking clearances. He could not at any point get close enough to a ball to even put pressure on the ball. And for the life of me, I couldn't understand why the coach didn't figure out how to deal with this numbers game. He kept having these two players pushed up the pitch. And all Franco kept doing was finding a space in between them, right? Even at times, they would be even like spread out this wide, and Franco would have all this space, and Low, being how he is, let's say this ball gets clipped into Franco. Low is pushing right up in here, and this guy, he might even play it back to then go over the top, and they have the favorable numbers right here for attached to the four defenders, and then we have one free person with Low, Russell, and everybody else trying to get back into the play. And it's always too late. So again, in this posture that Guatemala had when they were playing out, the most prudent thing to do would have said, okay, Cephas or Bailey, one of you have to engage. Based on how our team was set up, it would have made a lot more sense for Cephas to push here, which then would push Brown here. And then basically Gray can just get into an area where they can't just play the ball over the top to Herrera freely. He can close that space if need be. And Russell, simplified role, wherever Franco goes, you just stay with Russell. But look at the difference now. If Hagen doesn't like any of his options and he decides to play long, at least we're not outnumbered. Now, it's not ideal to have 5v5. You'd rather have an extra person on defense, but that's better than a 5v4, which is what we faced a lot of the time. So that was the first tactical tweak. I couldn't understand why the coach kept having Warner Brown pressing 3 players, sometimes even 4 players, because Franco would drop even into the box. And he's trying to, he's following this over here to close this down. He turns him back, he goes to here, now he plays it to Franco. And none of these players were ever close enough to anyone. So it looked like Russell and Gray were just in the midfield as if they were there. But the tactics didn't allow them to get close to any other players that they were playing against. Because this man's trying to press 4 people. I guess the instruction was for the wingers to stay at home with their fullbacks. But based on how they were building out, Gray would have to have pushed up. Or Russell would have to have pushed up. Somebody else would have to have pushed up. So too often I thought our midfielders were just, whether it was a tactical decision to be where they were, or they just weren't aware enough of what was going on the field themselves, they were in no man's land way too many times. And the problem with that was they had favorable matchups in behind, and we weren't getting close enough to them to block or prevent them from kicking those long passes. And when you don't have any pressure on the ball, at the end of the day, these are international players. So they're going to put it into dangerous areas, even if it's a long pass, right? With no pressure. So that was the first sign that I saw that I said, boy, the coach is not making any kind of adjustments. How can we go from being able to press them very well to not being able to lay a glove on them at any point? Must have been something tactical they were doing differently. And that's what I saw them doing differently from the first game. Now, the fact that the field is a bigger field helped them a lot because they just did a great job of making sure that they were fully spread. And Franco would be this man in here. So they had that bam, 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 triangle, and they would make them smaller at times to beat really good pressure. So you'd see Franco come and form the triangle with these 3. And if it was on the other side, it would be something like this. And they just always had angles. And of course, Hagen was always the safety valve. Because as I said, Brown was too busy trying to stay with one of these 3 to press a slow back pass or anything like that. Even at times, you would say Russell as the man pressing the keeper because Warner Brown is all over the place trying to keep up with these 2 center-backs who are spread way across the pitch. So it just shows the benefit of having a 6 that you trust, because you can do a lot in the build-out phase with your center-backs themselves to create space and let them have more time on the ball. So Franco was a key because they trust him and he could operate like a 6. Now, when Jamaica had the ball, there was one main tactical thing that I saw Coach Tena do, and I have to give him a lot of credit for it. So if I had to ask you, let me just check in with the chat and see if anybody have any comments on what I've been saying just now. Okay, I read that already. Eagle Republic said just checking in. Who can hear must feel who carried 1 cm and he ended up ill. Exactly. Stop talk, actually ball, and the numbers start dropping. Wait, say it was more fun for the people when we just a cuss and a chat. Jano. Bro, it was a 3-2 space 5. Yeah, bro. It was a madness. People go to SofaScore and compare Low's numbers against Guatemala last night and Hayden's numbers against them in the stadium. Not much difference. Yeah, and that's why SofaScore is great and everything, but you should still watch the game. Because remember, I've said this for a long time about Damian Lowe's scores. Damian Lowe will always have decent sofa scores because one thing that the ratings inflate for sure is if you're involved in a lot of actions. And anybody that doesn't have good positional discipline and just goes around the pitch and tackles and gets into duels, and they're probably going to have good ratings because they did a lot of actions. So sometimes when a 6 has like a 6.7 and it's a quiet game and they don't get a yellow and they just do their job, I'll take that game over the 7.1, but he had a yellow card and he ran out of position 10 times. Now he made 4 more tackles and he won 6 more duels, but that's only because he kept running into areas where he wasn't supposed to be. So it's you have to really look at everything in context a little bit, especially when it come on to that. No Canada. Second time in a row, the Lord Stanley resides in Sunrise, Florida. Wow. So Florida Panthers are take this NHL thing to our next level. So we are adding 2 midfield players. Let's keep it balanced. Karai Anderson and Sue. Okay. Sulai. Cephas and Warner 20-minute ballers, too predictable. I will keep saying the boys will lose players to JFF incompetence, injuries, personal issues, yellow cards, accumulation, direct red cards, lack of form, etc., etc. Just watch Curacao. Them not all that. Nothing for Jamaica to worry about. All right. So Travis not impressed. With the nil-all. We pressed them very well in the second half. Watch the game again and you will see how many turnovers they had from our press. Yes, but the press changed in the second half. I'm saying the first half. Why did he wait till the second half, Guru? We saw this from 10-15 minutes into the game. Put another person up there with one at the press. The man cannot stop 4 people by himself. Come on. It's not rocket science. Push Gray up. Go into a 4-4-2 out of possession so that we can deal with their playing out. Take away the wings and Air Jamaica is grounded. That was the Low did not make any. It's an activity rating. Exactly. Sometimes you don't, SofaScore ratings does not love cerebral players, unless them get an assist or a goal. Low did not make any progressive pass and he was out of position, is what Jason pointing out so many times. Yeah. What I'm pointing, that's what I was pointing out. Nana Low bright off the field when you hear he speaks, but he's a dunce on the field. He tackled too much to get yellow cards, not needed. Shaking my head. You don't make disclaimers when you are judging the players you like. That's bias. Football Guru, you just haven't seen me judge players enough. And I keep telling you, you put me in this box because you don't like a program that I go on a lot. And we are so different in how we talk about football. It's not even, bro. But it's okay. I understand. One day you will realize that I don't care who the players are. Like, I swear, it doesn't matter to me, bro. So you're directing these things to the wrong person. I keep telling you. Terrific. The card made trophy for the most valuable player in the playoffs. It's only fitting that this year it goes to the leading goal scorer. Yes. One thing with Gunners boss in them, I'm going to fill you in about all sports. We increase our tempo in the second half. That we did, Guru. That is a fact. I one of the wagonists them to, Max City a wagonist for real. Jaja. So I don't think, is he? I don't think so. Music, some will say you have a narrative and facts. I wonder what the stats in terms of progressive passes out the back. It seemed that every ball was off target. Yes, whenever we tried to play forward, our percentage went down horribly. As a matter of fact, our final third passes in general were terrible. So it's like what the further we got from our goal, the worse our passing got, which is kind of normal because, of course, they're getting more aware of the spaces that you're going to get into when you're closer to their goal. But at the same time, it was like we're talking like schoolboy level percentages. Football Guru has his biases, so I don't get what he's pointing out. I watch you often, and you do not make disclaimer when you are using SofaScore to judge players you like. But wasn't this question about, you said Low and Hayden? Okay. So answer me this, Guru. Which players I don't like? Like, cause I don't think I like or dislike any player. I might like or dislike how they performed in a game, but I'm not one of those people that if I don't like you today, I can't like you tomorrow. Like, I don't stay so. Well, it has to be that way. I told you that I wasn't impressed. Call me a wagonist. Once I call him anything you want, call him brother. Him no business. All right, so let me show you guys now what I saw that Tena did differently that I thought was brilliant in stopping what we wanted to do. So the first thing right off the bat that was noticeable, there was no form of sitting back from them in this game. So these mans, you see this front three right here, King would get a little wide. Pinnock wouldn't get as wide, but he would be on this side, right? Let's say starting out here. Now, what was interesting was in the game in Jamaica, when this was Damian Lowe and this was Hayden, right? Lowe would take up a position like this in the build-out phase, and Lati would even drop more central and deep. So it's almost as if King, which it says here, was low, and Lati would be anywhere from here into somewhere here. Russell and Gray would push up. Brown would be up the pitch as well. And what was different about this game was Guatemala was in a more passive posture. So the left-sided player would be, covering Low, who would be out here, or King for this game. And whoever was playing number 10 was actually the one trying to push up. But why it was working last game is Hayden would take up an intelligent position, sometimes all the way back here, and he could receive and then find Lati as that outlet to kind of progress it to whoever else. Now, what was happening in this game was because we didn't do as well playing out and we kept losing the ball, Latibo there wasn't really coming into this central space quite as much, which was leaving Low kind of in here on his own. And for whatever reason, Russell and Gray pretty much were playing second striker to Brown, right? But what I loved about what the coach did in this game that was different, he just basically conceded this part of the field. Not really conceded it, but he depended on these three players to be able to press and get them the ball up the field. But what they did really well though was Ramirez would drop into a 3 in midfield. And what that did was Russell, who sometimes would start a little bit behind Gray, he wasn't always all the way up. But Russell could not find any kind of area of joy, or they couldn't find Russell at any time for him to turn and go forward. So this player would be somewhere here. Herrera would be a little bit off a C-pass because he didn't want to get burned. Pinto, right? If Gray came near Franco, he started to man mark him. So you could tell that they didn't really want Gray to get any pocket of space free, right? Brown would probably be in between these two center backs somewhere. And Ramirez would be on Russell. And Bailey would be wide. And like I said, at times, Lati would be wanting to come somewhere in here to make that extra player, but due to how they started the game and how they were pressing us and turning us over, we kind of kept a more conventional shape in this first part of the game. And, you know, Lati was kind of confused at times. He would go in there, then you'd see him look to the bench and come back wide. And he kept kind of not trying to, he couldn't really figure out where to go. Then I realized whenever Jamaica did advance the ball to about the middle third, Lati would start to creep more central. So it wasn't as if Lati was going central in the first phase of the build-out like in the last game. And I think that was just predicated by, you know, them having a much better press. And because Damian Lowe, who is supposed to be the spearman, when you look at this, you know, they were quite fine. Lam here, Robles here, Ramirez here. And at times, they would just leave Lowe. Literally, they would just cover everyone but Lowe. And Lowe was so reluctant to get the ball. Even with him not having nobody around him, he would somehow find a way to end up like here or anywhere where he can't get the ball. And then when he would get the ball, typically it wasn't smooth enough, you know, in the turn and playing. It just, you know, misplaced. It just not clean enough, right? So they did their homework and said, listen, if he's gonna be the man there, he'll be the spearman every time. Just leave him. Because he don't really want the ball. And that was so true. He didn't really want the ball. But that was the clear outlet. Just play it low. And they were really just playing possum on that, because he would look to be open and they would kind of be baiting the pass. So they'd be a little off of these guys. He would be about here. So when Lowe get it, at least two of them are converged upon him. And like I said, he's not the most technically proficient under pressure with his back to goal. So he ended up just having to, you know, play a safer pass, or if he did try to turn, you know, miraculously win the ball, keep the ball some kind of way. But it just wasn't dynamic enough, and he doesn't have the confidence to do it. So to set him up like that was stupid. And for what I said, remember, I said if you must play Low in central midfield today for the defensive side of what he can do, please, for the love of Jesus, when we're building out, just tell him to go back into the back three. And so when he's receiving the ball, he can have the game ahead of him. Please, coach. And I thought what would have been smart here, because if they took this posture up, right, this might be how they would be pressing us. Then you take these two players and you invert them. So we have a 3-2 posture, right? We have a 3-2 posture. Lati is the outlet, Bell is the outlet. Now, Ramirez has a choice to make. Franco ain't going to want to leave his back line, you know? So the same things they were doing to us, we were reluctant to do it on this end because of this player's inability to figure out spatially where to go to beat the pressure. So we were behind the 8 ball, and they were much more aggressive, playing on the shoulder of players, you know, daring those passes to try to get it nicked off of their feet. So they really and truly did a remarkable job in what they did. And then in that next phase, the rare times when we did move the ball forward, this is what I thought took the cake on the game for them. So let's say the ball does progress, right? So Low might be shaded a little bit to the left. By this point, Lati would have inverted a little bit. And this is pretty much the shape that Jamaica would kind of get into if we did beat the first line. Santis. So Robles, who would have been in the initial press, he was the man. And if you notice, I think he had to come off first in that midfield. He would be the one running back. And once they got into their defensive shape that they wanted to have, it would look something like this. So you have Franco in the middle. And Ramirez would also break his neck and get back. And this was their defensive posture. They pretty much would have a line of 5, you know, depending on where the wingers were, because Morales would just be with Bailey, Herrera would be Cephas. And what they did remarkably in this game was they were able to come up with a system that gave them enough coverage to not get overloaded by these 4 players when they are combining. Well, one of which don't want to combine, so really 3 players. And let's say the ball gets to Lati and it comes immediately to Bailey. Now, this in itself looks promising, right? And let's even say that this is how the phase was when he got the ball. Now, that looks promising, that looks promising. Morales did a really good job of never diving in too early. He always gave his team time for Ramirez to break his neck. So by the time they got around here, Morales can now defend him straight up because he knows he has the coverage and that cutting, right? And even what they did even better than this as well, Russell usually when this happens would be supportive, but he was pretty much blocked off. If he ran here, Samayoa wasn't afraid to just block him off, right? And Franco did a really excellent job. Let's say this didn't happen enough, but what could have worked, Warner Brown never really troubled these channels right here. So when Bailey is getting all this attention here, Warner Brown runs this way. He never really was able to pull this defender out, which is how John Russell was getting in games in the past. So Brown was static. They had a great game plan because they know Bailey wants to either go down the line and get a crossing or cut in and make that diagonal play into the middle. But they just cut off that inside channel by having a system in place that had coverage for Russell in the half space and for Bailey if they want to double him when he gets closer to the byline down here on the right-hand side. And the same thing occurred on this other side as well. If Lowe found Cephas, when he first got it, it would look promising. All right, run at him, Cephas, run at him. But by the time he reached somewhere where he's going to make something happen, he looks up and he sees these 2 players in front of him now. So they had a great setup in that they cut off the supply channel central initially, and they funnel all the plays to the wing, which is kind of suicidal when you think about it, because isn't that where Jamaica wants to go? But they only let them get out there when they were already set up to defend the wing. And that's what they did so masterfully. We if you notice, the only play in the first half that Cephas had any joy, it was basically like this. It actually stemmed from the play being on the right, and Bailey kind of was thinking about going down the wing. That trap gets set, you know, and Bailey was able to turn out of the pressure, play it here. Lom comes back. I think it went to King, then it went to Pinnock, and Pinnock from about this position right here just played a long diagonal over to Cephas, and that was the only time the entire first half that this man got a 1v1 with Herrera. And he took him down here, cut like he was going to cross with him right foot, chop it onto his left. And that's when Russell made this run in late and just couldn't get ahead of his marker right here. And that's, I think it came out to Bailey. And Bailey, you know, when it came in, it ricocheted, go in the air, and then Bailey was about here, took the shot, and it went wide. I wish it went in the goal like that. But yeah. But so at halftime, I was saying on my stream, I said, listen, if we can take what they're giving us on one of the wings, bait them into trying to trap that player, and then quickly just recycle the ball to anybody on the back line and then play that diagonal, that's the only way we're going to get to isolate them based on what I see how they set up. Now, in the second half, it did get better because, you know, King had to come off. Not sure if it was just a tactical decision or what, but Lowe went to the back line, Lati went here, and Dexter came in here. And why this worked immediately better? For one, we had a person here that's not, you know, not necessarily the most technical player in the entire world, but he's not going to hide from the ball either, right? So it worked a lot better for us in the second half. The intensity picked up as well. I think a part of that was a byproduct of them having something to protect. So their press was not as, let's say, they weren't taking as much risk in the press as they were in the first half because they didn't need to. So, you know, sometimes you have to look at how a team plays and kind of put it into the context of how the other team is playing at the time. So I think it was a little bit of both. The setup was a little bit better and conducive to us playing better with the ball, but also I think that the onus wasn't really on them anymore to press us. They could just kind of stay in their mid to low block and be completely pleased with that. But yeah, those are some tactical things that I saw, and I thought, man, a coach that's making these in-game adjustments would have seen these things earlier. Obviously, intensity is a hard thing to step up when the players are on the pitch. Maybe that's something that they go and give them the hair dryer treatment in the halftime team talk, and they come out like Jano Star. We can't do that again. But as far as the tactical things, like Warner Brown pressing against 4 players by himself, um, the build-out phase, having your 2 midfielders that were playing with low, pressed high up the pitch at all times, playing as dual tens when there's not enough outlets for low, who is limited. You want to put more options around him if possible. So it just didn't really make sense to try to play the exact same style that we were in Jamaica, but yet still we don't have the personnel to play it. It just didn't make much sense. You know what I'm saying? So people, hold on 1 second. All right, I have to take care of something real quick. Hold on 1 second. I'm not gone. People, 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 people. Respect, respect, respect. I had to go and deal with something real fast, people. All right, we're back. We're back, people. We're back. So, yeah, those are just a few of the tactical things that I saw. And let's go to the comment section, see if there's anything that people wanted me to touch on or something that they saw that they want to add. So let's see. All right, let me see if I can see where we were. Okay, turns out progressive. All right, cool. Saw that. How come nobody talk about how Blake think slow and don't start the play as well as Davis? Don't we want him to improve instead of him kicking the ball to the opponent and it coming right back? Yeah, I feel like with other personnel though, Blake ain't as bad. And also, Blake has just always been bad when he's pressed. I don't care who is playing with him. He's just not the best with his feet. And that's why when people tell me that, if Blake wanted to be overseas, he would be overseas, I think that's bollocks. I think he just doesn't fit in with the modern game because his feet are not good. Exactly what was the reason to have Gray and Russell so far up the field? It didn't make sense. Canada scored. Yeah, I did see that. Who scored, by the way? Was it David again? This man always scoring, man. Dexter Show he can play his role. He came on and did great. Yep. He'll give you what he'll give you, bro. It's myth and bias. Check the number. He's one of the best players you'll come across who can finish the games with a yellow card and he doesn't get red card like the narrative. Canada score. Yep. Honduras defense. Okay, so it was a shambles. I have to see the replay. I'm kind of in the middle of my little breakdown, so I never really see it exactly. I'm just see them and celebrate. Can agree with that, but for me, Low should play CB or bench, nothing personal. Just not like see him play CDM. Why are we beating Low when he wasn't our worst player and his play didn't cost us the game? I'm not beating Low. I'm beating the coach for putting Low into that area. That's all. But his play did cost us the game at times because we had no middle in front of our back line because Lowe wanted to go and defend every area of the pitch when we just needed him to defend one area. Exactly, Lowe hit from the ball, and when he got it, he didn't do anything with it. First, I cannot see how it is so hard for our players to get motivated for a game. Secondly, anyone who was caught by surprise by the Guatemalan performance spends way too much time watching EPL. Exactly, or at least have a simple pass. Low is better DM than Latibodir and Russell. I don't know, Guru. I could argue, 2-0, Jano. I don't think there's any argument for Lati not being better than him at CDM. But I think the Russell one, because I just don't think Russell likes playing that role, Like, at least Low probably like it. Low just want up on the field. What a finish. Blow. And them say the B team this, and the fourth string striker that, but look on the finish there. Maran Garden shouldn't do that to Low. Don't play that man in midfield. Where's Maran tell the coach? Coach didn't do him any favors. No, he didn't. I'm not comparing. Well, look, I'm not going to beat Low at all for the deficiencies when we have the ball. He just don't have it. But what I can beat him for is, bro, you don't understand how you need to be more disciplined when you're playing there. You cannot be running trying to win a ball, passing Russell and Gray and in front of them. No, bro. Just keep your position, please. Even the goal that was conceded, Low going to try win a ball at the half line for no reason. Like he didn't need to go all the way out there to try win that ball. And you see where the area of the goal came from, right on top of the box. You believe you're telling me that if Lowe wasn't around that play where he was supposed to be, because remember, King touched the ball and it go through Pinnock foot and then it ricochet back to Lam at the top of the box. If R6 was there, that he would challenge that right there. Honduras look shaky, so it's 2-0 half time. Any news on Baker? A more natural CDM. Bro, the news on passports when you ask people is like if you ask 10 people, you get 10 different answer. So like I said before, like when it comes down to that stuff, at this point, I just say, yo, when I see the man them have on the jersey, and actually can't even wait till that. When I see them have on the jersey in an official game, then I'll know for sure. I don't get why Bailey always trying to beat more than one player instead of using the ball. At times I thought it wasn't even Bailey's fault though, because sometimes he didn't have anybody around him to even pass with. I don't know what happened because in the first game, Russell was doing a good job of sometimes breaking into the box when Bailey have it, and other times, giving him an angle for a pass or running into the space beyond him. But I wasn't seeing any of that in this game. I think that was partially down to the fact that he had a lot more work to do going the other way. So he just wasn't always around with Bailey. But we need to do more than wake up for real. We need to play better. Double up on both wings greatly for real. Yeah, and it was the way how he set up defensively that allowed him to do that. And he found a way to not give up the central part early and then have enough coverage to cover the wide part as well. So you know what I say? You can't take away everything, but he came up with a system that took away a lot of each thing. So that's why I have to give him a lot of credit. And we didn't really pivot to anything else. We didn't say, oh, they want us to get the ball wide early so they can trap us over there. We just kept going into the trap. And then when we realized it was a trap, we just stopped going that way and we stopped doing what we wanted to do and we didn't do anything. So we just didn't have a second way of attacking. That's the only way. And the reason why the second half it got a little better was they couldn't just readily overload us on the right anymore because Lembikisa was combining with Bailey more. So they had to, they couldn't just follow Bailey into the corner with 3 people. It wasn't going to work that way anymore. Yeah, and those passes were when our wingers got in the most advantageous position. But every time, other than that, it was so slow to get the winger the ball that they were set up by the time the winger got the ball, or they were so deep that they had to run too many yards and take up too much ground to be effective with the ball. So Jamaica should get a Netflix-style documentary for the World Cup qualifiers. I would like to see what McClaren actually telling the players at the interval. That would be nice. Leon Bailey's waist shit house baller. The team no need this dropsy baller. Kiss my fucking teeth. Kev is fed up. Travis, you sure Guzo Leon, the man that stop drop down when he plays for us. MF, I told you on the stream last night, the man drop down when he play for Villa too, All right, people, look, I missed out some comments. Yeah, I thought it wasn't a effort, energy, passion thing for Bailey yesterday. When's the last time Bailey wins 6 duels in a match for Jamaica? That not really happen often, The JFF would be very hesitant to allow any kind of video like that, even though it would bring in revenue. That is true. He didn't have a bad game, in my opinion, but he just seems to lose his footing a lot at the most. That is true. The inopportune times thing. It's like, damn. Nothing wrong. Him just not good at international football. Hold the ball too long, do the simple 1-2 passing. I'm hoping it's either a midfield of Lati Russell Casey or Karai Russell Palmer. Don't be surprised if Leon Bailey plays the 10 role, Hayden plays 6 with Casey. I wish Hayden was there. Yeah, well, we saw when he made the subs and brought on Dixon, Bailey was the one that pushed central. So maybe that was a preview right there. And he was getting the ball in some decent areas central, to be honest. I just worry about when the posture of the game is different and he have to actually do the other side, how that going to go. Plus, we know Bailey for cutting in and bombing the goal. He looks like he has lost his power. The bombs are duds. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's been all season, man. I don't know what happened to his ball striking. He struck him, tell you what ball him strike good. That Champions League goal him did score. When the ball come out to him and him crack it. That was a good strike. Okay, Russell 6. Got you. Conrad Smith, I just want to see that what the team talk is about. The players are not motivated second half. JD assist, missed a couple chances. We should have got a pen and we're missing lots and still dominant. So you get the two there, Saski. Yeah, that was a rotted goal. That's what we are missing for real. Man just score from an acute angle, and that's the fourth string striker, you know, people. It's as soon as MF talk. MF, where about the talk for? Yeah, I think this one will end about 3 or 4, to be honest. Man, do them thing, man. Passport information, a trade secret. Yeah, man. I don't know what kind of brother. Gotta think about it. If you don't know if the man them have them passport, them not can always just say the man them not have them passport, brother. If we can't get the info from the player themselves, we're not gonna know what tell the truth. You know what I mean? So I'm just glad to me have some proof of some. So as I say, because I'm a good person, I will not speak about this stuff until after the World Cup done. But I'm telling you, that show is gonna be a nice one. Jamaica looked the worst so far in the World Cup. Yeah, I saw JD asking which worse, the Jamaica loss or the Trinidad loss. Jamaican fans them said Jamaica, them no business say them get 5. Because Guatemala will lose to it worse. Canada B team leading by 2 against Honduras. As you said, still they wouldn't want certain things out here. Yeah, we say try that with our team. Let's see if it works. I just watch Canada match. While Jamaica cussing about JPL must get picked, Canada getting the best talents out there. I have no hope with this balance where people are talking about. I hate it so. Not a fan of the double 10. I saw issues with even games we won. Yeah, look, it's the only issue I have with it, is like we kind of fell in love with the double 10 in the first Guatemala game, but what I didn't love about it is even when we're defending, we want to stay with the double 10, but somebody has to drop closer to Hayden at times. I think why it worked out okay last game is because Lati was playing that inverted role where he really was tucked in as long as he could to keep that midfield number right until he had to come back wide to defend. And even at times, Lowe would just stay wide and he would just drop back into defense to make the 4. So we never really got to that place in this game where Lati was able to control that area, whether it was inside right or all the way to the right. I don't know if it was because King was playing the role and not Low. Like King didn't have as much of a handle on all that space like Low did. I don't know, but that's why I think it might have been tactical why he took him off. He was just looking at it and saying, well, if I'm going to play Dexter, I don't want to leave King on that island with so much to do. I more trust Low to do it, even though it was even on a yellow. But I'm thinking maybe that's why, or maybe the niggle that he had before came back. I don't know. So we'll have to see if they mention anything about that moving forward. Say something. It works for Low most of the time. He ran past Canada and provided the play to take us. Yeah, but the most of the time thing is you're taking the one time and that's the norm. But the norm is really that he's out of position more. If we had 3 more with low mobility, we good. Bro, all right, football guru, some know me and you just see the game different, and that's fine. But if we had 3 more lows, any team that understands space and how to move the ball would literally just be running and chasing people. Because Low don't realize, let's say Low is where Lati is in this screen right here, football guru, right? And Low would have run where Cephas there, he would have run where Bell there, while the ball pass over there. And then, you know where the goal comes from? This number 25 running into the box in that middle space where I'm gone. So if we had 3 more lows, we would just leave space everywhere. I don't know how you don't see that. Because he'll run past people that are closer to the ball to win the ball. You know? So it's like, yes, oh, look at the passion. Look where far him run to make the tackle in. But brother, if you don't make the tackle, which is a possibility, the whole team is unbalanced now. But no, I guess you just want him to go and try to win the ball. My sports always saying, Canada, kings of CONCACAF. We have promised David and Jebison on the bench. Whoa. And I saw Larin before the game too. Canada side hot still, you know. Yeah, man, them full of striker, brother. Will be nothing in CONCACAF if we not get out of this foolish mindset about why we have a national league and a funny Canada league. And the Canada league way better than us. Low in Canada work because of DJ and Bobby. Grimmy was smart enough to put players next to him. Yeah, he had 2 technical players next to him, so it balanced it out. What am I say? Balance. And Bobby is a worker. Even though he's a more attacking player, he always played decent when he played deeper in midfield because he's a worker. And we're in born again, so how him passion so big. So that's why I say don't have an address, brother. Martin Baker, they'll tell you Canada playing with heart and passion. Guess because they're playing in the US, they want to fight against Trump tariff. Actually, this game is in Canada, you know. It's the first World Cup game in Canada, if I'm not mistaken. Or at first one at BC Place or whatever. I thought that's what Sasky was saying. Jamaica has to qualify this time, or maybe never, as 48 teams and no Mexico, Canada. Yeah, I agree. We have to. Hey, MF, the man I said that from the meeting, you know. So it's not like just tonight why this are going on. Big man, look how Canada team run left way, bro. Yeah, big time. People was on YouTube last night congratulating the coach for being charitable by bringing Antonio, not because he's in form, but because he's recovering from a car accident. Such idiocy. Yeah, man, the Fox reporter, whichever reporter that was what asked about him. It's like they even ran a special before the game on Antonio recovery and thing. And it's a great story, don't get me wrong. But I mean, what are we really running here? We're trying to get a Disney movie made, or we're trying to do something in the tournament. And to be fair to him, I was kind of ridiculing the decision to bring him on, but he did okay. He did all right. I mean, he still don't look like he can do much, even on the one leg and stuff. Like it looks like, after 2 big sprints, you could see the difference in how he was running after that. So he just ain't ready for this type of level right now, man. It looked good for the first 2 times, but once he had to do it again, it was like, damn, the leg looked heavier and heavier every time you see him run. Yeah, I agree. All right, we are at the 2-hour mark, people. So we don't want the show run till hours of morning. So let's do this. Actually, we'd like to be done with this so I can watch more of that second half instead of talking to you guys, to be honest. But people, please do smash the like button. There have been a lot of you pass through and leave and thing, and I've had to power off the stream. So we know the consistency not going to be there as much, but we're almost at the 100 likes mark. Let me close this poll down and see. So 54% of you people, 54% say we still will qualify, 23% say still not sure, 18% say still won't qualify, and 3% of you said yes before, but not anymore. So still the majority of you still saying we'll qualify, but I'm sure that number is a little bit lower today than it was yesterday. But interesting to see where your guys' thoughts are on that. So let's really quickly go through the team. So we have Andre Blake in goal. Look, Andre Blake had some top class saves in the game. I thought the header from Rubin was excellent. I thought the save in the second half after deflected shot was better than it first looked when I watched it on the replay again. He did have to make an adjustment there. But the playing out from the back leaves a lot to be desired. Just looks so uncomfortable on the ball. They only concede the 1 goal. I thought he kept us in the game, made that trademark big save. I think it was the 70th minute from the Rubin header. And definitely did enough for us to at least get a point if we could have scored a goal. But the kicking is what knocks off a point for me. So, the goalkeeping itself, the shot stopping, I would give him a 7.5. But again, just putting us under too much pressure at times. So I'm going to take off a 0.5 point. I'm going to give Andre Blake a 7 in this game. And when Bailey released that ball, it was almost offside. So if he was any faster, then would have been offside. So it wouldn't account. And he reached the ball. I don't know why I'm never blood clot control it, brother. He missed the entire first half. Honduras keeper didn't get a red. No. MF think Guatemala better than Canada? Really? Wow. Some of these men never have an actual football comment to add. Just the same foolishness over and over. Canada had legit 7 great chances. First half XG bullshit must be off the radar. Max City, the man them have T. Campbell on the bench and Bailey are dropped down and Cephas have only one strength. Dixon have the so-called heart. But Honduras struggling against Canada and Jamaica talking about winning the Gold Cup when we struggle against Honduras. For real. I do remember winning in Kingston as well and for World Cup qualifying first two. Yeah. You did beat us in. No, we drew with you guys. Stop it. It was 0-0. Martin Baker, as what Jason said earlier, Campbell was warming up from minute 2. How can he not put him on the game? Needed his play. Football is a running and tackling game. That's how you see football, and that is a part of the game. But not we, but you place an emphasis on what you want to place an emphasis on. I happen to place more of an emphasis on balance. So if a player is slow, you know how you balance it out by having very good spatial awareness and understanding and reading the game really well. You know, but I think you, Guru, you see a player that's slow and you automatically, damn, 3-0. You see a player that's slow and you automatically don't want him. We need more athlete because that's how the game play here. Bro, those Guatemalans are not fast. They're just intelligent with their movement. So they don't waste movement. And that's the thing. I think wasted movement is one of the worst things on a football pitch. You don't care about that. As long as they're moving, you're cool. And that's where our philosophies differ, right there. Martin Baker, Jamaica only can get 1 point maximum from the group. Cha-cha. Could be because I can't understand how Campbell not get at least 60 minutes for us all. No, we are still going to qualify. All right, Wells, thank you. We need the balance. We need some people that still believe. No, they played the first game in Canada last World Cup. You get favors when the president is Canadian. Oh, it was the last time. Okay, cool. I don't know why. Well, maybe it's the first time they're playing it at this ground. Because isn't BC plays Vancouver? And Toronto Stadium named something else? Or have them mix up? It's easy, man. I love football, I love JA, but I won't let either stress me. It's just a game after all. Feel good when we win, disappointed when we lose. Yeah, Antonio did actually play well, to be fair to him. However, that shouldn't be a sub we should be making, given what happened to him. Antonio deserves his place and Jamaica's consideration. Yeah, it's a tough one for me, Guru. I know you claim to say I champion them, but brother, football in sense wise, it don't really make sense. And especially how the man describe it, like we deserve to, we owe it to him to get him fit. And I'm thinking, I mean, we don't have to do that in the actual game. I mean, you want him around the team as a leader, you want him there, that's fine. Let him train, let him do the drills and get his fitness up that way. But let's not have him get his fitness in the last 10 minutes of a game we're losing 1-0. Come on. Antonio playing more minutes than Campbell in 3 games. We have to fix his team for the World Cup qualifiers. All right, so Andre Blake, I gave him a 7. Rob gave him a 7. Guru gave a 6.8. And people, you can drop any number, 6.2, 6.9. Well, hopefully you don't do that one day. 7.3, whatever. Any number you want to put, just put it. So that's Guru and Rob. Jaja. Andre Blake, people. Oh, Max City gave him a 7. Anybody else? Anybody else going once, going twice? All right, look. We are run through this, so I'm going to give him a 7. I think it was 2 7s and a 6.8. So we'll say 7. All right, moving on. Clive McLean said the goalkeeper get a 6. Thank you, Clive McLean. All right, moving in. Okay, float says 7.5. So keep on dropping them. I don't think anybody would have moved it yet. Get a 6 and a 7.5 to go with 2 7s and a 6.8. Yeah, 3-0. I see that. Oh, penal, nothing. Young C got saved the day. Boy, Kyoto still a play. Yeah, 2 big saves for Blake. Yeah, man, I swear it's a penalty them all give, Rob Smith said the president Canadian. So, Trinidad never used to win them something. Him now was the president then. He was too busy just getting the funds. All right, so let's move to the center backs. Let's do Ethan Pinnock. So Ethan Pinnock. I only had one gripe with Pinnock yesterday, but I think that's just I just need to realize that that's how Pinnock play. Like Pinnock ain't gonna go full power into nothing. That's just not how him defend. He's a much more calm player. And I think that probably doesn't endear him to some of our Jamaican fans. But you could see a little bit of rustiness. I thought even in that rustiness, though, he was probably our best long pass out of the back. Blood fire, what a save! That should have scored. So Pinnock, I gave Pinnock basically the same thing, like a 7, 6.8, 6.7, closer to 7 than a 6. A little more than a 6.5, so probably like a 6.7. Yeah, I'll say a 6.7 or 8. Yeah, 6.8 I gave Pinnock. Little less than Blake. But I think he did just fine, to be honest. Again, on the goal, could be said maybe he could have got off the ground a little more to try to get the touch. But yeah, I don't think Pinnock was bad though. I just don't think that anybody really warrants a super high score. So even though it's a 6.8, which seems low, that's probably going to be up there amongst the people. I think Blake might be my highest player, to be honest, with the 7. But let's see how it pans out. So let's see what the chat is saying. 7 for Pinnock says float, 7.5 for Football Guru, 6.5 played well, very involved late, should have scored, so I couldn't give him the 7. Yeah, did lose a point. He did have the big chance, did fall to his head late. And I think he was free enough to at least force a save on that one. So I do have to take off something for that. But I think on the balance of everything else he did, I would say, with that goal or with that on target, maybe he gets like a 7, over a 7, like a 7.2, 7.3, 0.5 comes off for me, so it goes to the 6.8. But let's see what people thinking. 7, 6.5. Let's see. Yeah, man, I'm a cook. Big up the OC. Jano. When I reach Nana yet, Pinnock started slow but warmed up a 7. Pinnock a 5, says Clive, 6.5. So a pretty decent little range. We got a 5 in there. We got some 7s. We got a 7.5, a 6.5. So yeah, I'd probably say about a 6 point something, maybe 6.5. There were a few 6.5s, a 7, a 7.5, and a 5, and a 6.5. Yeah, so looks like 6.5 is about the average from the chat. All right, so let's move on to, yeah, man, Canada usually play exciting matches. That is true. 3.6 based on his potential. So we are going to go to the other center back that started the game, and that's Richard King. So Richard King, for me, did okay. I thought he was tidy in possession for the most part. Wasn't afraid to advance into midfield. I thought he gave away the ball a few more times than what he normally does in this game. I think that had a lot to do with the added pressure that he was facing. Typically in the games that he has played, that he's played well in, it's against the teams that kind of give you the time on the ball to do what you want to do. And this was the first time I can remember, apart from playing USA in the second half of a game, that they kind of came off the gas a little bit in terms of their press, that he faced a real press. And I don't think he failed, right? But I do think that, the intensity and the urgency, he needs to pick that up when he plays a team with that type of pressing style. Because sometimes, he doesn't lose the ball, but like he'll give the ball to a guy 1-2 seconds too late, so that guy is under more pressure when he gets it, type of thing. So sometimes, while I know he has the confidence to do more on the ball, sometimes he just needs to do the first thing. And that's just for the continuity of the movement of the play. And I do think that on the goal, I'm still trying to figure out what exactly he was doing. Was he surprised that it went over Pinnock's head? Was he trying to control the ball there? Was he trying to play it off to Pinnock? I couldn't tell what he was doing on that play. And I think with him coming off at halftime, I don't think he can get up to a 7 like Blake because he didn't play the whole game. So I'll probably give him about a 6.5. I think that's about fair for King. I don't think it was bad, and I don't think it was great. So it was an average performance, I thought. So 6.5, I will say. Guru gives him a 7. King didn't turn back the ball, but his final passes were anemic. 5.5 for King, did all right. That was a simple clearance. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, Rob, what he actually did, or what was he trying to do. I was confused because it looked like at first glance I thought he was trying to control it. Then when I saw the replay, I'm thinking, okay, maybe he was laying that off for Pinnock to clear, but why would you be laying that off to your center back partner that's 1 foot beside you? Like, why am I supposed to start out in feet there and clear the ball? King had fought for the goal, but for his passing, he did well, 5.8. So it looked like I gone too high. Well, Guru got 7, I got 6.5. Rob said 5.5. Chile says 6, 5.8, 6.5. MF 6 was attempting the pass through the press. Completing a pass to a person under pressure is the same as giving it away. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Sometimes he just takes like in his mind, he just needs to have a quicker mental clock. But again, that's why we've been screaming he needs to leave the JPL, because you don't have the speed up. You're not forced to play fast. So he's always playing cool and calm. But when you get pressed, you gotta hurry up. You're a hard taskmaster. Yeah, Rob does great hard typically. That is true. All right, so look, it ranged from 5.5 up to a 7, it looked like. So I think the most fair thing would be, what's that? Split the difference between them, about 6.25. I think probably 6, probably a 6 then. No, he did get a 7 too, and a 5.8. Sorry, let's say a 6.5. That's probably about the average, maybe a little below. He's always playing with the ball. People say he's calm. I say you need to pick it up. All right, so next player we're going to discuss is Amari Bell. I think he started out the game shockingly horrible. He was one of those that just was not ready intensity-wise. Got brushed off the ball for the first shot on target. Was the deepest player when we conceded the goal as well. So yeah, he had a warm time in the first half. I thought he improved in the second, much like a lot of the team. But I think the first half display just was not good enough for me. And yeah, I've always been a proponent of Bell over Lee, and I don't change that. But Amari needs to step up a little bit, I think. It's been the Unity Cup was good, but I thought in the World Cup qualifying window he wasn't as good. So which Amari Bell is the real Amari Bell is the question, right? So who knows? Maybe him having that extra responsibility of the armband did well for him. Some players they kind of play worse with that responsibility, but he seemed to play better in that responsibility. So Bell gets a 5 from Clive, 6.5 from Guru. Yeah, I'm inclined to give Bell a 6.5 as well. I think if it was based on the first half, it would be a high 5, low 6. But I think he redeemed himself quite a bit in the second half. So I'm going to say a 6.5 overall. Failed to account for pressure and move the ball fast. Yeah, one of the worst game I have seen from him. 5. Wanted to see him tuck in as well and help the midfield. Yeah, I wanted that tactically too, but it didn't quite happen. So yeah, Bell gets a 6.5 for me. Rob said one of the worst he's seen, gives him a 5. MF says 6. Chile said 5.7. Guru gave him a 6.5. McLean a 5. Bell gets a 6. Some of his passing was abysmal. Jamaica will pick it up, I think, and I hope Saski. All right, so it looks like Bell gets a little lower than what I gave him from the crowd. So I'm going to say about a 6. I see it ranging from 5 to about 6.5. So maybe like a 5.8, probably the average from the chat. All right, so Bell gets a little lower than everybody else, having decision issues. Yeah, we might see Lee next game just due to, just fatigue and needing to put in somebody fresh. So Larin, Basang, and who that? Oh, Kamal Miller. Kamal Miller is a fixture. The man cannot go anywhere. All right, now Latibo there started out the game as the right back, then moved into central midfield for the second half. Look, I thought in the first half he didn't really know where the coach wanted him. He kept talking and then going back out, talking and going back out. So we weren't sure what he was doing. And then when he was in the midfield in the second half, I thought it was way better. I thought we were a lot less susceptible in that middle channel because he was doing a better job of holding his position. Now, as the game wore on, we saw him get turned in midfield a few times as we started to, press higher as a team because the aggression and the pressure did get better in the second half in terms of where we were engaging the other team. And I think that caused him to be out of pressure and in dangerous areas for him because while people are saying he's too slow, I don't think he's slow, but he ain't the fastest either. I think he's about middle of the road when it comes to speed, or maybe even a little bit faster than a normal CB is. But yeah, I don't think he was so bad. I don't think he was so good. So I'll probably give him like a 6.5, right? I don't think he deserved much more than that. Maybe even a 6.4, 6.3, but I'm gonna say a 6.5 for Lati. I thought the second half stabilization of the midfield was basically plain to see. You could see it, and it just goes to show like if he was a true inverted wing back in the first half, or if he just played central midfield from the game started, how different would the game have turned out? We don't really know now, but I would like to think it would be better. Watch all those Canadian athletes in their midfield. Guru now give up, bad. Bad what a 4x1 team. Yeah. So competitions like that, when you're done with the competition and it's done, the next time it's a big competition is when you sit out. So remember, they don't play no World Cup, So this is the next competition they play. Lati 7 gets my highest score. Didn't give away the ball. 6.5 for Lati. Canada cruising here. Lati gets a 6 from Mac City. Ali Ahmed nearly goal. Look at his stats. Yeah, Ali Ahmed to me, backside, a 4 that now. No, man. Lati gets a 6. MF want the forward passing 6.5, 7, 6. All right, so Buchanan score again. So you got 5. Him score again after scoring. Nah, the same goal that. Unless you can see the future. Afford that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yo, stop beg out goal, man. You soon get 5, man. You don't have to rush it. We say VAR will call it back. VAR will take away the man goal. Well, the man looking over to the sideline, seeing if them want him to go look, but maybe them just waiting for the subs. Look like it gonna count. Yeah, it counts. All right, so next player, people, after Lati, we're going to move into the midfield and obviously played centre back in the second half. But Damian Lowe, people, Damian Lowe, what you guys think about Damian Lowe's game? Brother, I'm going to be honest with you. Because of the positional indiscipline at centre back, at CDM, I got to mark him harder. I think when he went to CB, he was a lot better. But I think a part of the reason for that is when you're playing centre back, you have a line to work with that you know, okay, this is my line. When you're in that central midfield area, there's no line to work off of. When there is a line to work off of, the one behind you, and you stay a little bit ahead of it. But the football is he's just attracted to the football, no matter where it is. So, no, I don't have any word on it. I don't have any word from inside the camp. I would think today he would have been assessed. I know they traveled today, so I don't know how they could have gotten a scan or anything like that done. So they might have to do that where they reach now. So I'm not really sure. But we should get some news on it. I know press conference will be match day -1. So I'll be there tomorrow. I have so many questions to ask, but I only get one. So I'll have to be strategic and do a cataract and ask part A, B, C, D, E, and F. Low gets a 7 for first half, 6.5 second half, so that average out to a 5.25, I think, something like that. Anybody else going to rank Damian Low? Yeah, part A, B, C, D, E, F. Low gets a 4 for me. He started well, but insisted on testing the refs' limits. Ooh. So 4, 5.25, 7 from Guru. Max City give him a 6. Yeah, look, I think defensively it was okay. Like when he moved into defense in the second half, he was decent until he came off. And he was actually decent defensively in certain instances in midfield. But it's just the positional indiscipline, man. I can't get over it, bro. Most of these stadiums have scanning facilities on site. Okay. So maybe he did the damn scan right after the game. I would think he did, because it was clear that something really bad happened. He couldn't even really lift his leg and walk properly. So 3 from Corey, 5 from MF, 6 from Mac City. So yeah, Low for me gets like a 6.5 as well. And again, just because there were aspects of his game that we needed. He did make some good challenges on the counter-attack. But, whenever he didn't win that challenge or get called for a foul and stop play, typically he was way out of position when he did that. And that's why he didn't get more from me, because I'm almost certain that like all the metrics around the world will give him higher than this, because I don't even know, I haven't looked, but I'm sure him win probably about between aerial and ground, probably 7-8 duels in the game. Big up Mr. 007, up full. He's never as poor as the loud people say he is. Tune in midfield, he was not horrible in intercepting and changing their passes, but he can't pass. Yeah, he was just so bad in possession when he was in midfield, and then any action that he went into and didn't stop the play, he was out of position. So I can't praise him. I can't completely beat him for some of the things that he did that caused us some joy, but he could have done all those things in his number 6 area. You don't have to run wider than Gray. You don't have to run wider than Russell. You don't have to be in Bell's left back position tackling. Just stop leaving your area, boss, please. I was surprised he wasn't assisted off the field, letting him walk. Yeah, well, Lowe probably asked to stand up and walk, and cause man, they just that's the mentality. Who cares if I'm damaging my leg? I just want my teammates to see me walking off. Like think. Very poor first half, but second half he did his job. Canada winning Gold Cup. Mexico must be a hockey team. Canada 4-0, 60 minutes. Canada can win though. People putting him in midfield need a direct question. Why? Yeah, true. All right, so Low gets a 6.5 from me. From the crowd, I think it's going to be a bit lower. 3, 5, 6. 5.25, 7. So yeah, I think he gets about a 5 to a 5.5 from the crowd. And Lati got a 6.3 ish. Yes, it looks like Low got about a 5.5 from the crowd. Sorry, D-Lo. And them range for your score is humongous. All right, so moving up further into the midfield now. Actually, before we move into the rest of the midfield, let's just do Dexter Lembikisa. He came on at halftime. So what you guys gave Dex? I thought Dex was good, man. I give Dex a 7. Thought he was one of the better players, to be honest. Yeah, man. Got a ramp, man. Say, and just a reminder, all media personnel get one question. Man say, okay, here's my question. And it's gonna be some parts. So here's part 1. And by the time you reach to the fourth part, it changed from numbers to letters. So it was part 1, part 2, part C, and part D. So the man used letters and numbers, and it might be a 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B. Dexter plays well when in the bus. Man, Qatar not easy, bro. The man in a ramp people, the man they a sample that, man, I tell you the truth. Yeah, he really does love the sound of his own voice. I mean, I guess you could argue I do too, because I turn on my camera and I talk for 3 hours, but I like to think I don't waste that many words, Sometimes you'll just talk for talking's sake. 6.5 added some attacking threat that was needed. Yeah, he did good, man. He did good. Quick and fast drop Dexter scoring, man, car. I run way past the time. I'm going up there for the entire second half to Royal card. 6.5, 7, 6. Okay, so kind of what I thought. He's going to be hovering around the 6.5, 7. I gave him a 7 personally. There's another 7, so I can boost it up a little bit more. Let's see. Anybody else? Dexter going once, twice. All right, 5.8. Kind of balance it back off again. So I have 6, 5.8, 6.5, and 2.7. So yeah, so I think the chat probably about a 6.7 to a 6.8. I'll give it a 6.7. All right, moving on now. Were there any other substitutions in the back line? No, not really. All right, so let's go to Jonathan Russell. So Jonathan Russell, for me, tactically, where he was set up wasn't right. Execution of a lot of the things he was doing wasn't right. Just didn't see him getting on the ball enough in the game. When he got it, he was neat and tight. He didn't really lose the ball much, but he just wasn't influential enough in the game, attacking wise or defensive for that matter. Yeah, I don't think it was his best game. I think it was pretty quiet, but I'll still give him a 6.5 because, as I said, the retention was still good. He just didn't touch the ball enough for me. Didn't influence the game enough for me. Rob Smith gave him a 5.5. DJ Giggs said a 6.5. And that is 5-0 now. And of course, the big man himself scoring 5 million goals in the Belgian Pro League. And Canada is quickly becoming the Nigeria of CONCACAF with 25 strikers in the squad. .5, 6.5. Yeah, bro, it's getting mad out here, MF. MF said the man them not look good. And after the man said that, the man them start play like prime. Not even know which side. Can't even say Brazil again. God, them not on a prime right now. One of his worst games since returning, if not the worst. Yeah, he was anonymous in the game. Told a lot of Europe clubs went after dominating Belgian Jupiler. Yeah, man, he's doing his thing, man. Man wants to play striker. I think the coach I put him there though, cause I mean, you think the man that just run go up there every time just so? Dexter come in his first action was to dribble into three men. Palmer came on and did the same. Antonio came on and did the same. We were horrible, man. I was ashamed. Yeah, decision making was poor. Russell 5.5. Russell 5. All right, so it look like Russell getting a fives today, you know. Sad to say, Mr. Russell. 5, 5.5, 5.5, 6.5, and 5.5. Yeah, so a lot of 5.5. So we'll just average it out to that. Brother, when we played Honduras, it was a dog fight. Nil all. And either team could have win the game. Russell 6, MF 5, 4.5. Yeah, so I think 5.5 is about the average for Russell. So let's move further up into the midfield now. We have Damari Gray. Damari Gray, I thought was if we could have just gotten him the ball more, because when he got the ball, he did good things with it. All right, so I have to adjust Russell's score. Him can't get a 6.5. Him get a 6. Or like a 6.3. And then for Gray, I'm going to say Gray gets like a 6.8 because he was better than Russell. I don't think he was quite as good as like Dexter and Blake. So 6.8 I would give Gray. Yeah, knocked you out. Corey gives Gray a 6. Showed why he's a winger. Shoot when he should pass. Solid 6. Demaria 7.0. I thought Gray was decent, man. He did have some shooting that I was like, damn, why I never passed that? That left foot one in particular when he had the 3 runners in front of him, bro. I don't know why him shoot that. Anybody know if the two Davids of Canada are related? No, I don't think they are at all. Didn't see Gray. But Sasuke Guna is in the building, so I'm sure he'll tell you. But I don't think they are related. Demi had chances to make plays, but wants to score the goal at the tournament. Yeah, he did it a few times for real. Just the decision was like, and I think that's the one time him don't make good decisions, you know, when it comes to shooting or passing. He typically tend to go with the shooting. And then I've seen him have times where it's like perfectly lined up for him to shoot and him don't shoot. You see the intensity of the Canadians? They're up 5 and still look like they're down. Yeah, but a lot of that too has to do with the setup as well, because you know how deflating it is to the coach to be telling you, yes, we need to press them. And there's no organization, so nobody can actually get close to the ball. So what they end up doing is just running. But look at this. Once they press, the Canadians are near the ball. And look, they're not near the ball now, but look where the ball is. In the other team, 18-yard box. Yeah, Promise could have played for Nigeria. And I think David would have been what, Haiti? I think he's Haitian, right? Haitian Pele, yeah, exactly. King and Pinnock cost us. Effort plus talent is needed. In League One, they scream. Schaffelberg can't even start a ball, you know? All right, so Dimi, look like Dimi get a 6.5, I would say. Couple 7s, some 6s. 6.5 as well. All right, so 6.5. Moving forward now, let's go to the left wing first, and let's give Ronaldo Cephas a grade. So Ronaldo Cephas, people, what grade do you give Cephas? For me, it was a tough night for him. Didn't really get the ball in the areas that he could be most dangerous from. The one time he got it with a favorable spot, and to run at the player, he beat him. But that just didn't happen enough. You know what I'm saying? So I thought the tracking back was a little better in this game, and he noticeably was, getting back on that left hand side. But yeah, I don't think he was effective enough. So I don't think it was like terrible. So I'll say like a 6.3 probably from me. Rob said 5.5, 5.5 to Lulu, 5.7. J. David, born Brooklyn, from Haitian parents, and went to Canada at all. JD grew up there. All right. 6 for MPA. Corey says 6. Clive said 5.7. Cephas 5.5. Said Lulu. Rob Smith said 5.5. So drop some more score for Cephas, people, and let me know. Because right now, Cephas look like him getting about a 5.7-ish score. Gets a 6. You need to go back to the 4-4-2. Away from home formation, McClaren. One type of formation. Cephas or Demi, make your choice, coach. Need someone to get him the ball. 5 from Gigs, 6.0 from Guru, 6 from MF. Yeah, so looks like Guru and MF might have saved him and Max City and Corey. So yeah, I think he can get a 6 even from the chat. It's probably fair enough. Did get a 5 to do, so even not quite a 6. Let's say a 5.8. That's probably more realistic. All right, next up, Leon Bailey. So the ball striking still not where we want it in terms of clean. DJ Gig said a 6.8. So Leon Bailey, people, Leon Bailey wasn't there and was our best attacking actions. All right, so Leon Bailey, people, actually think he did all right, I think he got a 7 from me, honestly. Honestly, I think he deserves a 7 from me. That's what I'm going to give him. Guru agrees. He says a 7.0, 6.5 MF, 4.5 Clive McLean. So Clive McLean and Rob Smith got the same grade in school for the most part. But even Clive go lower than Rob this time because 6.5 Rob said. Jagaran says 6 for Cephas. Okay, thank you, Jagarans, for clearing that up so I don't mix it up. 6.5 Corey for Bailey. Leon Bailey so weak. He did okay though. 6.5. DJ Geek says 6.5. So a lot of 6.5 for Bailey. I deducted 0.5 for tipping over like a sleeping cow. So Bailey had a 7, but the -5 from Football Guru to MF was for the tipping over like a sleeping cow. All right, so it looks like on average, 6.5 fair. I know Clive drop it down and Bailey and Guru bring it up, but a lot of 6.5s there. Lulu 6.6, giving him the edge again. So I would say 6.5 is probably a good average. So me nicer than you guys with the Leon Bailey score. Clive McLean are dead. Now man, Clive, keep on grade all your grade, brother. A year grades, so no feel no way. Give your grades, boss. No problem. All right, Warner Brown. Tried, heart and passion was there, Guru's favorite attributes, but just couldn't really get involved in the game enough. Then the rare times he got the ball, it didn't stick enough, I remember some of you were just winning like the first 3-4 duels against him, and it just looked like he was never quite the same after that. But yeah, I think if Cephas had looked up on that play when he beat the player, the cutback was on to Warner Brown. But he just didn't really see him, I guess. So yeah, for me, Warner Brown gets probably a 6, 6.2, 6.3. Yeah, I'm gonna give Warner Brown a straight 6. So it just didn't do enough for me in the game. Ran his legs off, just not effective, 6.0. Brown 4.5. Brown wasn't the man for this match, 5.5. Coach get a 0. 6 from Corey, 6 from Lulu. So yeah, I think 6 might be about the average. About 4 or 5 sixes from everybody. 5.5s. McLean with the customary lower score of 4.5. Bring down a little bit, but I think there were enough 6s there to just say, yeah, him get a straight 6. All right, so how the sub them go again, people? I already did Lemby Kisa. So we had Casey Palmer. So listen, just drop all of your scores for them baller. Yeah. Casey Palmer, Roman Burrell, Dixon, and Antonio. So those are the 4 players, people. You hear that? 4 players, you know. Casey Palmer, Roman Burrell, Kaim Dixon, Mikel Antonio. So I'm going to run through mine. Casey Palmer, terrible. I don't know how the man plays so bad in that short of a time. Well, he played about 20-something minutes plus injury time, but he was bad, man. I don't know what happened to the man. The man can't even pass. He can normally pass. The man couldn't even pass. So 5.5 from me for Casey. I thought he might be borderline worst score. I think Burrell was okay, not the best. So I'll say like a 5.7. I think he deserve a little more than Casey. Kaim Dixon, energy and passion. Yes, I saw it, you know. Don't think he did enough so much, but I think 6.5, him deserve more than the other 2 subs. And then Antonio deserved the highest mark for a sub for me. So I'm gonna say him get a 6.7. So Palmer 5.5, Burrell 5.7, Dixon 6.5, and Antonio 6.7. That's what I will go with for those 4 players. So let me just see what you guys say. Guru just say a straight 6 for everybody. Casey just ran straight and passed nowhere. Palmer 4.5, Burrell 5, Dixon 5, Antonio 6. All right, nice. Palmer 5 from McLean. Brown was not man for this match. Coaching is logic and intuition. Know when to pull out a player. The 5.5 was for Brown. All right, DJ Gigs, respect. I miss this. Brown tried to give Guatemala heart, but them refuse it. Casey 10 for aggression after the match. Yo, the man shoot the cameraman. Man said, bro. Man said, bro, what you doing, bro? Anytime you hear them, man, they start say, bro, you know. No, say them gonna throw hands after that, you know. All right, so look, not enough votes from everybody, but I'm just gonna say the chat give them about a 5.8 a piece. So Palmer deserve less. All right, Lulu understand the assignment. Burrell incomplete. Him can't vote him. Palmer 5.8, Dixon 5.5, Antonio 6. MF say a 5. Not sure which player are you talking. Maybe Palmer can say him first. 6 say Jagarns. So I go low out that people. So I'm just curious now, people. Let me get rid of the tactical part real quick. I'm both for cut off the stream, honestly. I'm ready for go chill now, but 5 for all of them. All right, cool, respect. So that's easy. That makes it easy. So yeah, I think on average it's about a 5.5 for everybody. Yeah, McClaren people, McClaren. So let's give McClaren a vote. So basically, when I'm doing a coaches thing, just to give you my 6-0 to backside. Is Basang first game this Saski? Is this the first time Basang play? So yeah, McClaren, starting 11, in-game tactics, vote everything out of 10. So for me, the starting 11, players in the wrong positions. I'll say that right away. And also the in-game tactical adjustments were non-existent. So I think it's going to be one of the lowest ratings I've ever given a coach. I give him a 1.7. I know it's random, but I think that's about what he deserved. All right, no, you know what? Not so low. Not so low, not so low, not so low, not so low. Because the second half was better. So I'll give him a 3.3. So that's still very low out of 10, but I'll give him a 3.3. So Max City give him a 5. 5 for participating. Coach 2, don't think he feel he had much choice in the lineup, but didn't adjust quick enough. Agree. Jagans, Borrell 5.5, Antonio 6. 6 love to backside. Honduras worse than Trinidad. Maybe Canada better than USA. Okay, that was Saliba. I thought that was Basang. My good last name. 6 in the Canada and it's the B team. I don't cornflakes. It's not the B team. Parts of their A team is missing, but everybody else that's A level is here. They have all the strikers, brother. Jebison is there too, is he not? Coach 4. X 5. Body position of the defenders. He got the ball. Set him up for failure. True. He should turn his resignation then. But that was a nice strike from Saliba, though. Yeah, the back line. The back line is a big one. But is it, though? Is the back line being missing really a big one? Because your back line don't ever fucking defend people anyway. Now always I beat people 3-2 on him something. So maybe this is a good look. I mean, Alistair Johnston is a no-brainer, but and Bombito too, and Cornelius too. So damn. At least 3 out of the 4 are definite. But who is your starting left back? Like, who is your starting left back normally? Isn't it Larea? Him no good. Oh, so Alfonso going to play left back on the march. That's true. Because I think about Larea, but it's Alfonso. That is true. I forgot. Adakugbe, I don't know. He stalled. I thought he was going to be better. But maybe he could still be good again. I don't know. So McClaren, boy, the chat nice to McClaren, man. 4.5 and 5.5 and them thing there. Boy, nice. Where's Clive McLean? Clive McLean. Give me the coach rating, the Clive McLean. I need for see this. Game plan incomplete. No in-game. Too long. Wrong personnel. So, yo, you know, say it's a bad score coming in. Clive not drop the score rating, man. The man just start tell me things. Yo, Clive McLean go have a nasty score for him now. God, the man that he would get a score, the man that started everything went wrong. Oh, see, that coach 4. Sorry, I never even see it. Yo, I'm surprised. I swear say that 2 him I get. All right, 4, 5.5, 3.5, 3. All right, so I'm gonna say the chat was better than me still. So I'm gonna say a 4.3 from the chat. All right, cool. So chat, respect. That was a nice exercise. Forget about sofa score. We're not business with sofa score. Sofa score can have whatever you want to have. That's our rating. But let's go through to recap everybody, right? So Blake got a 7 from me. Average out in the chat was a 7. Pinnock 6.8. Average in the chat was a 6.5. King, one of the few players that the chat and myself were spot on together, 6.5. Bell 6.5, 5.8 from the chat. Lati, I gave him a 6.5, chat gave him a 6.3. Low, one of the biggest differences today between the chat and myself, I gave Low a 6.5, right? Which people probably going to watch this and say I'm a madman, but I saw some things that he actually did that helped us, and he did a lot that hurt us too. But I still think 6.5. The chat said 5.5. Dexter, I gave a 7, chat 6.7. Jonathan Russell, I gave a 6.3, the chat 5.5. Damari Gray, I gave a 6.8, chat gave him a 6.5. Cephas, I gave a 6.3, chat gave him a 5.8. Bailey, I gave a 7, chat gave him a 6.5. Warner Brown, we agreed on a 6. And Palmer, 5.5. Chat gave him slightly higher at a 6. No, it wasn't that high. It was like a 5.7. Borrell 5.7. Then the chat gave him a little bit lower at 5.5. Dixon, 6.5 is what I gave him. In the chat gave him about a 6. And Antonio, I gave a 6.7. In the chat gave him something similar, maybe a little bit lower at a 6.5. So that's pretty much it, people. And the Coach McClaren, I gave a 3.3. Chat average out to about a 4.3 for the coach. So people, we had a nice show. It ran a little bit longer than I wanted to, but sometimes when you want to get all this information out there, this is just in the form that it comes out. Sometimes a bit longer than we think, right? But people, I really thoroughly enjoyed bringing you this content. Thank you so much for tuning in. All those who have been in the comment section from its start, left and came back in, stuck around the whole time. A lot of you did stay engaged the whole time, so I really do appreciate that. Let me check my likes total. We have 100 likes target, and we're about 6 likes away. So when you're leaving the building, I'm sure you guys will tap it if you haven't done so already, and I will easily pass that likes target that I set at the start of the video. But people, once we get to the end of the content on this channel, you'll hear these words, and that kind of lets you know that we're about to turn off the stream. So people, once again, I am Jason Gooner. This is Jason Gooner TV. And since we're talking about them today, come on, you reggae boys.